chance. No sleep till I'm enhanced. Fight hard to keep my stance. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside.
Oh, okay. Are you kidding me? Taking over the game. What am I watching? They might just be doing it. He's a god. He's a god.
Yeah. Full force, I'm unleashed, so don't speak. Grandmaster, don't sleep. Victory, it tastes so sweet. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside. Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch APAC action. I am Achilles back on the cast alongside Avril. We'll be bringing you the action here for both of our matches tonight. Starting off, we're going to have the LA Valiant going up against the NYXL. We saw NYXL playing yesterday. Unfortunately for them, they could not get the victory. Neither could the LA Valiant. Now we get to take both the losers from yesterday, push them against each other, and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and this is going to be, you know, I think the last winnable game for the Valiant as well. When I look at these two teams, New York have that great win versus Fusion earlier in the June Joust, and then, you know, things start to get a little bit more sour for them. They lose versus the Guangzhou Charge, which were another struggling team. They came in yesterday versus Seoul, where, you know, things looked reasonably competitive in some cases in the first couple of maps. They did also win Junkertown, and then it started to slide downhill, man. Like, we saw that Hanamura mega one-sided, Fitz had a phenomenal game on that Hollywood and shut New York out. So New York, they're looking a little bit more defeatable again. And you look at the Valiant coming into this, and like, honestly, we're kind of thinking, if there is a winnable match in all of June Joust, it's probably this one. Because afterwards, I mean, Valiant are going to have to go up against, you know, Hangzhou and Philadelphia, and those are going to be tough games.
Yeah, and I guarantee that no New York fan, especially, you know, long-term New York Excelsior fans, are going to enjoy hearing that this is the winnable match for the LA Valiant. That is going to be a very scary sentence for them to listen to. But perhaps, you know, something that can take their mind off of that prospect, help them relax, would be some great fan art. Maybe some fan art of your favorite Overwatch League players enjoying a refreshing Coca-Cola beverage, perhaps. Go ahead and check out the Overwatch League art gallery at the link below at the bottom of your screen.
Seth,
I thought that was a little bit better of a segue than I had yesterday. I
got something to say about it, by the way. I'm a little upset that it's, you know, enjoy Coca-Cola with players. Like, how about we include Carson into that? So, you know, why don't we take a swig for soda? Make sure you guys started 2L in there. I'm going to include myself in this, so.
That's true.
Here you go. There's a reference. There's a reference. Draw me.
Let's start including some artwork of the casters. Why not?
Chug Coke for soda.
Free of our shackles, so that we can start being included in all of that. But yeah, I mean, either way, this is a super interesting matchup because, like you said, it does feel like this is the best opportunity for the Valiant to potentially be able to pick up that win. Taking a look at one of our head-to-heads here is going to be Echo, so very prevalent in the meta right now. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at both Feather and Milanran.
Absolutely, and Milano, and I think, you know, talking about the Valiant side of things once more, this is going to be, the DPS especially, both Crystal and Milano, this is going to have to be a DPS-centric team. I don't see a lot of ways for Valiant to win outside of having the capability for the DPS to pop up and really, you know, opening that up, you know, having Silver 3 survive long, having the capability for Milano to do something more there. We saw a bit of that Echo yesterday, not as strong as the Milano and Tracer that we had in the May Melee. On the New York side of things, they got 4 DPSs. You got the Flora Feather combo, and then you've got the Ivy Guangbong combo. Interestingly enough, the Ivy Guangbong combo was actually the one that won yesterday on Junkertown. Nano Blades galore. Great shots from Guangbong as well, so really good stuff there. I wonder if we're going to get those two coming back in again. I'm sure we will, but it does seem like for now, New York, that's how they're dividing up their 2 DPS cores.
Yeah, and it also seems to be, you know, maybe like a set play when they want to come in for, you know, a map that does have those longer sightlines, such as Junkertown. Granted, didn't see it on Hollywood. I thought maybe the Widowmaker would have been, you know, relevant enough for Guangbong to be fielded, but was not the case. Over on the side of the Valiant, not going to be changing up anything here, not going to be seeing any shocks. So we just have to see how they're going to be squaring up against each other. Milanran, again, was super consistent yesterday in that series, and it looks like he's going to be munching on another banana today, so sure we'll have some great webcam moments. But
is it a banana?
I think it is.
Okay, all right.
I saw some posts, people were saying that he was eating a banana.
All right,
we'll
I'll
have to
take
wait
it.
and see. But yeah, he was looking much better, you know, before. It's been the Tracer for him, has those pop-off moments, but he looked really, really good overall on the Echo, so I'm excited to see how he's going to be going up against Feather, who seems like he's just going to be sim-boosting everybody forward with a teleporter to start.
Now, I do want to make a last comment here about the winnable thing. You know, look, this is going to be the most winnable match for the LA Valiant, but New York I still expect to be the favorites here. They still are the stronger team. You look across stats, you look across win rates, the fact that they beat Philadelphia Fusion, big deal. That version of New York is still in here somewhere. They show up today. It's not going to be a pretty game. Last 4 matches in a row have been an 0-3 for the Valiant, so they haven't even taken a map. The only map they've won is versus Chengdu in May Melee in that first game.
Yep. Just coming around the backside here. Get some damage down. Flora up on top, getting tagged up just a little bit as both these teams posture for position to get this first lockdown to the point. Just relocating around the pillars, trying to stay safe, looking for those shots, and a Milanron can't quite line it up. Milanron at 70% just about. Feather only at 23% for the duplicate. Now Jonak going to be taken out. That's going to give Huya that first nano boost for certain. Beam comes through. Milanron finds Friday, finds Bianca's mech. And this will be the Valiant finding the point first. Flashbang does connect, but there's no way to get a kill there. The follow-up comes through from multiple members, and the Valiant just wiped the floor with the NYXL here in the first fight.
Yeah, something wrong with Feather here in that fight as well, only doing 670 damage over the course of the opening engagement. You got Flora on 2k, that's why he has his ultimate available. So, you know, on the other hand, Flora's been hitting shots, but they haven't been able to confirm those. Usually what you want to see is your hit scans landing hits in, and then you have your Echo play focusing beam. That's what confirms the targets. Crystal here is the hit scan, coming out of the Widowmaker, instantly finds Jonak, and everything goes well from there in favor of LA Valiant. And one thing we have been noting, especially in yesterday's game set, is the fact that Valiant have been winning neutrals.
Yep. And now out on the Milanron. He's going to be pulling back. Silver Dre did get slept, instantly annihilated. Feather coming up with the kill. Assistance of that Bionade out from Jonak. So good opening pick. Now Crystal going to be gone as Yakpung gets his way into the back line, takes out the Widowmaker. The rest going to be using the front line by High B to put Silver 3 back into the fight, but he gets punished for that. Milanron is eliminated as well, so it's a really good return fight. Very necessary here for the NYXL as they look to get this flip. Going to be just shy of 60% on the board for the Valiant, but NYXL now in control, and they're about to have 4 ultimates online.
And one thing that we saw yesterday as well in the LA Valiant gameplay is the breaking point for the team has often been Silver 3. You get this main tank down early, the rest of the team opens up. Suddenly Crystal Milanron, they're completely susceptible to damage and can take them down much easier. Yeah, we're looking at Feather taking quite a bit of a licking. He does have duplicate available to save himself.
Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and pop that as he falls down to about 80 HP. Milanron, however, is going to be the one finding an opening kill, goes in for the duplicate, but instantly gets slept. Really well set up there by Jonak. Yeah, as he gets the copy on the Ana. Flashbang out from Crystal, gets the headshot to break Feather out of the duplicate. He will fall in the end to Shocheng. Bianca finding Crystal, so now going to be a 2 for 2. As both sides lose the support, but Hybe going down means there's no support available at the moment for either side as Jonak will join him in the grave. Not quite even tying up yet, and YXL desperately looking to maintain control of this point. Yakpung still going to be low, needs to roll around, likely find a Mega Pack or something to be able to rejoin in. The adaptive shield does get popped. Deadeye from Flora, however, actually clears them back. And that will give NYXL a little bit of extra time to get Jonak, get Friday back over to the point and get settled.
Really tricky for NYXL there. You saw they lost both of their support, so while they had opening frags and good damage on LA Valiant, it was a pretty slow fight. Nano coming in through for Feather, responded to Nano onto, I believe it was Crystal. The Hybe goes down, so that's 65.
Yeah, just trying to save the Cowboys' life. They do manage to keep Crystal alive at least for a little bit longer. The Bionade forces him back. He's maybe thinking about getting in a position to try to use this Deadeye, take Friday out of the sky, if not Feather as well. But it seems like he won't need the Deadeye for that. We'll just go ahead, click him in the head. Rez instantly going to be there. Friday puts him right back into the fight. Deadeye going to be used. A couple dinks coming in from Flora, but they do manage to keep Crystal sustained. And he's not going to be able to find any picks with that ult. Finds a little bit of space driving the NYXL away from the Valiant spawn point a little bit. Just continue to reroute around the side of this point. Flip getting ready to come through. NYXL not contesting this at the moment. In fact, they'll just let this go over. Now look for the win on the fight at the back end. Self-destruct going to be used. Yakpung actually getting caught by that one. Could prove to be a little bit catastrophic in the end as Milanron is over on the side, manages to find Flores, looking for another one, but Friday gives him the melee hit. Rez will come through to put Flora back into the fight. NYXL now straight back over onto the point to look for this flip and look for the finish.
No Nano,
they are already at 99%. He said, yeah, Nano not going to be able to be used. Feather going to be taken out. or taking him out rather. Silver 3 now falling. Sleep Dart is in onto Shochung. Now the Bio need to go ahead and try to break him out of the mech, which he will be able to do. He was the only person that could have contested, and New York will be able to win the first round, 181.
And just things not coming online for LA Valiant in time there as well. New York, they get the opening frag. I believe Crystal went down quite early. LA Valiant are the type of team that, based on what we've seen, they just don't make these comeback plays. They're not very clutch in terms of, their players. If they end up in a 5v6, their opportunity to win goes down dramatically. You see a lot of other teams in a 5v6, maybe they can still turn it around. Somebody finds an excellent headshot, they get a counter pick somewhere else, but for the LA Valiant, it's a slow loss. The only reason why, again, one of those other fights where they kind of went down early and they still kept it in for a bit longer was because they got Jonak and Friday on their return, but they still ended up being grinded up when Friday returned to the squad and eventually Jonak as well. The kills start coming in really slowly for the LA Valiant if they don't get an early lead. This is a team that desperately needs an early lead. They need to get that first frag, get the 6v5, and then they can start winning fights from there. But outside of the neutral, haven't found a lot of success. This is where they can win. Let's see if they win the neutral again.
Back over to the Hangzhou here from Crystal. The Echoes just trading blows a little bit. Bubble coming up at a perfect time there for Yakpung. They force Milan back. Can't quite get the punish, can't get the kill confirmed, but still do quite a bit of damage. So continue to poke and prod. Feather looking a lot better here at the start of the round compared to last. Keeping pace with Milan here to start. Milan, that being said though, does manage to find Yakpung, taking him out with a beam. Bianca gonna be zipping away, coming back over towards the supports to try to get topped up. Milan continues to inch around the flank. Trying to duke it out against Feather. Can't quite get those sticky bombs to connect.
Cap went over.
Glide available. Oh, okay. For a second I thought he was going to be Milan getting that kill, but it was actually Crystal from the side finding Friday. Dropping that Mercy out of the sky. Silver 3 is dead. Rez not yet coming through from High Beast. Not sure what exact position that was in.
Nano.
They can see the Rez will come in. Yeah, Nano now going to be used here by Jonak, chucking that one through, but Yakpung in the meantime is taking quite a bit of damage, trying to keep him sustained. Feather getting dropped on. Shocheng pursuing him perfectly, finds that kill. Silver 3 going to fall. In all of the chaos, NYXL have snatched the point out from underneath the Valiant, as they've only picked up 23%. And it seems like this is just going to be one of those weird rounds, Avril.
And Warrior's gone over towards the, he's gone off the BAP over towards the Ana now, so I'm a little surprised he played the BAP anyway. It's just like the composition doesn't really work with the BAP. It's not like they're playing double shield, there's no Orisa there. Early duplication from Feather here over towards the Diva copy, with Crystal down. This is only going to go one way. Friday's going to have an ultimate as well, and I don't see LA Valiant winning this one. Oh, and the crush
Maybe
kill.
he's going to be able to find that remake kill. It doesn't quite happen. Pursues forward a little bit further, trying to finish off that Baby Diva. Pulls back, Bubble nicely placed to go ahead and keep him protected. For now, NYXL will retain control of this point. Ult's getting ready to come up here for Jonak, so 4 nearly online for NYXL. Still a little bit lacking here for the Valiant. Need to win out a little bit in a neutral fight perhaps to try to make something happen.
This Hangzhou as well, man. This Hangzhou is a really interesting one. I would prefer if Crystal would just stay on a Widowmaker, and Ash would be excellent as well. Needs to find those opening headshots somehow. Don't see a lot of value for the Dragon Strike. Here comes that duplicate from Milan run.
Goes out with the Diva. So far hasn't really been able to find too many targets, so he's not building up towards that self-destruct quickly at all. Rejoins in with the rest of his squad. He's actually playing Peel, and Bianca gets the eat on the Dragon Strike, takes that one away. Now Shocheng going to be eliminated. Milan using the self-destruct clears the point just slightly, but nobody is really there to capitalize. No one's there to gain ground. They're all being pushed back over towards their spawn. Bianca with the self-destruct of his own manages to find Milan. Now Wuya's going to be taken out again with a nano boost in his pocket. Cannot use it. Bubble comes down to protect Friday, ensuring they can put Bianca back into the fight. He will remech, and NYXL look great to be able to take this second round.
The good news is Valiant have at least been able to reset properly. They get one more go at this. They have, the nano available, should go towards Milan run, but other than that, they're kind of out of everything. Feather and Flora about to hit ultimates. NYXL in control of the points, still with 3 touches, but he's been melted. He's half health.
Yeah, and they're looking for the finish. Bianca pursuing forward, does manage to get that kill. Crystal trying to
Where's
drag
the
this
nano?
back. Gets the kill here on the Flora. Milan going to fall, however. Jonak coming up with 1 Feather, taking out Hybe. It's just Wuya alive, and Shocheng is not really receiving much of anything as far as the healing is concerned. They will finish them off. They will finish the point, and that will be NYXL after a little bit of a shaky start on Ruins, coming back into well and taking both rounds very concisely.
Yeah, and even towards the end there, it was such a weird line of play. I mean, yeah, we are going to have Silver 3 come and get the touch, but then he just dies. Unfortunately, they can't get him out alive. Usually for a ball play, you should be able to get alive. Maybe a little help from Shocheng on the flex tank there would have been pretty good. Then you have this Nano coming in very late on. I believe it went to Milanra, but he got caught by a Bionade from Jonak just beforehand, so you didn't get any of the healing. The Nano gets kind of wasted at that stage. I would have preferred if Wuya just throws the Nano on the Silver 3, keeps Silver 3 alive, and then they can test with their main tank and actually play 6v6, because they win that neutral, but the rest of it's all downhill.
Yeah, well, a very good start here overall for the side of the NYXL, but still plenty of time for the Valiant to try to bounce back and keep things evened up. We'll see if they can tie up this series when we come back from map number 2. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Let's get you back in the fight.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Right now, Tracer getting cloned of all heroes. Who said he couldn't play Tracer Hero playing Echo? He's on it. And the Valiant very close to look at this round. Gets the stick. Nice.
The stick with the Tracer gets another one at the end too, and apparently
Jonak goes down. Amazing follow from Mandu there after that anti-root. And Mike Haley goes down to his Friday having a ball. And Mike Haley goes down to the rest of Mercy. NYXL are still holding their ground.
It's going to be pretty good, but both teams right now are starting to gauge, and as I say, that Shocheng takes down Joseph Wan, who tried to get to the back, but Shocheng again showing up, Doa.
dude, Shocheng has been so good on this Zarya. He's been so aggressive.
He then gets to touch as well. Choice of One's got the blade, but he instantly goes down. Guangzhou coming alive. Kareem and Choice of One dead. This should just be the point. Oh my word! Mike Haley, don't know where his head's gone.
Alrighty, and we are back and just about to jump into our second map of our first series of the day. NYXL looking pretty good overall on Ilios, able to take the first map over the LA Valiant, who are now going to be looking to bounce back as we get ready to jump into Dorado for our escort map here in this set. It was a fairly good start overall, I would say, for the Valiant Avril, but NYXL had a really concise teamfight win at the end of Ruins to get themselves the victory, and then it was very much a one-sided affair when it came down to Well.
I think Valiant are the type of team that I can best describe as they get into first and second gear really, really good, but they can't find that third, fourth, fifth, or anywhere beyond that. They probably don't even have a sixth gear at this stage. They really struggle to get the ball rolling once they get off the starting grid. I mean, off the starting grid, they're in the lead, and they get outpaced very fast. Every other team that we've seen so far, even when Valiant can consistently, and they just won both those neutrals on Elios, but they can't win the subsequent fights. They can't keep those wins going. They can't snowball into an advantage, and NYXL, even if they lose that starting fight, they can come back in, clutch up a fight, get a little bit of ultimates running, and they don't lose ever again after that.
Yeah, well, he's looked a bit better today so far, but I think as far as yesterday, a good summary is exactly what you just said, struggling to get the ball rolling in the most literal sense. It was really rough-wrecking ball performance from Silver 3, but today it has been looking better. He's been going and he's been getting these pile drives down. Good timings as far as the adaptive shield is concerned. Not quite leading to victory yet. Crystal going to be starting things off with the Widowmaker, takes a little pot shot there into Bianca's mech, who's instantly on the case, chasing him down, making sure he's not going to be getting any value. And he will just go ahead and swap over to McCree, so we'll have McCree versus Ash to kick things off. And Shochung is going to be playing this one out a bit more slowly with the Orisa back on the card.
Yeah, you are seeing the Chengdu Ball Orisa composition, and I've explained this one a couple times, or maybe just explain it again, but Ball usually goes on a mission, and Orisa's a little bit more stable on the payload, on the objective here, but usually you see this composition on the defense, not the offense, so we'll see what kind of value Shochung could really find. I would prefer the Diva on the offense here, just to pocket Silver 3. We talked plenty about the fact that Silver 3, he will go down early, a lot of damage will be put on specifically Silver 3's main tank, and you need a flex tank to hard pocket Silver 3 to keep him alive.
Well, right now, hard pocketing now, but not going to be able to do too much as the Bionade did come through. Didn't take too much damage during that. Just a little bit more of that, however, on the back end. Dives coming in from Yakpung. That will be the nano invested onto him as he drops down. Sleep comes in. In the meantime, off screen, yeah, Bionade onto both the tanks here from the side of the Valiant. Feather is able to capitalize, gets the sticky bombs through onto Shochung. Now Hybe going to be eliminated. Feather is just pressing forward, showing some confidence now as they just look to rip the rest of the Valiant limb from limb. Milanron still going to be slightly ahead as far as the duplicate is concerned, but Feather not that far behind. And so far, it's going to be a nice firm hold here from the NYXL.
It's not a good start for Wuya today, not over the last two maps. I'd say last two maps, maybe a map and a half at this stage, because he's only just got the nano now, significantly behind Jonak in both damage and healing, and now with Milan run down. I mean, again, where was that nano? We need to see some of this play coming through from the Valiant side. They got the ultimates, but they got to pull the trigger.
Just haven't really done it yet. Milanron trying to peel for Hybe, but he was the one who ended up getting taken out. Rez now going to be on cooldown. Milanron does receive the nano boost this time around. Manages to find Flora, but then will be slept, so not going to find too much value on the other side of this ult. Silver 3, anti out, trying to roll through. Can't quite knock anybody into the minefield here. Good halt, pulls Jonak in. He's going to get hard-pocketed there by Friday, who's up in the sky with the Valkyrie. Here, Feather going in with the duplicate, manages to get that bongo online. The self-destruct from Milanron will take that out, will also knock Feather out of that duplicate, but Feather, he's got the beam, he comes out on top of the Echo 1v1, gets that kill, and yeah, Jonak does have nano should he need to pop it, but it seems like he's going to be just fine at the moment. That being said, as I say it, they throw it onto Feather, and he comes up with two, finds both supports with one volley of sticky bombs, takes him out. Shochung going to be dead in the meantime. That's half the Valiant currently waiting to respawn, and the NYXL are looking fierce. They are looking for this full hold.
And this is what I'm saying as well, you know, between both teams. Valiant are the type of team that both needs to have the first kill to have any chance, but then they can't clutch. But then you look at York Excelsior, they can clutch. You have this brilliant res coming through from Friday onto Jonak, because Jonak has a nano available. Feather's got a kill already, put the nano to Feather. He comes up with two more, and suddenly NYXL at a deficit have come back massively in this fight. It could be a full hold now. We're down to about 40-ish kind of seconds remaining. An ultimate's coming online. The nano's gonna be there. And this one's gonna have to go up to Milanron very quickly, and you gotta hope that Milanron can pick up the damage and fight another 6v5, but even then, can they get the win off that?
Nano goes out on the Milanron to start, so he's looking for some picks. Flora up here on the high ground.
It's a bad start.
To take him out of the sky, and yeah, already Hybe going to be gone to that hard pocket for Milanron. Eliminated now, no damage boost on the Crystal either. Silver 3 getting farmed off screen. Flora burns him down. Dies right before he gets that minefield available. If they can delay, then maybe he can come back into this fight, but you can see Shochung, he's got to swap off because he has to re-mech, doesn't want to drop off the side of the map, knows that he does not have the time available to make that happen. But they are just pressing forward. They are ripping apart the LA Valiant right now. Just 3 members left alive, Hybe up in the sky, but completely zoned back. The Deadeye cutting him off. Feather will expire before he can actually pull the trigger on the ultimate, but look at the damage just coming through. Shug just trying to play up here on the card. Bionade out on the Silver 3, immediately on the back end of the Sleep Dart. Now Shocheng eliminated from the mech. Self-destruct up over the top from Bianca, looking for the finish. Won't get any kills, but NYXL hold firmly on the cart just beyond this underpass. Not even to the fountain here on the first point of Dorado. It is a full hold. A dominant showing here for NYXL, who are looking to bounce back after that loss yesterday.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced it'll be 2-0 here as well. I mean, LA Valiant would have to pull out an incredible hold. They can do that. We've seen the possibility. They had the draw yesterday versus Shanghai, but that was just a draw. You can't even draw on this map. Where the cart positioning is not going to be far enough, I don't think. And it depends on what the Valiant run in terms of comps as well, because they're the type of team that on Ilios and even on this map as well, we looked at Wuya's Batisi decide to run on Well, and now you have Shocheng starting over on the Orisa, eventually goes over to Diva. It's like they will eventually go to the right composition, but they will for some reason start on the wrong one almost every single time. Here we go. This is the kind of comp that you want to see them play. Talked plenty yesterday in their matchup versus Shanghai about how, you know, the Ashe, Echo, M to Winston, Diva, Mercy, Ana is going to be probably the one composition that LA Valiant really need to get a handle of and kind of perfect to get them through this June Joust meta. On the New York Excelsior side, I think they're just playing their standard stuff today. They're not really meeting a lot of resistance. Flora's got almost double the damage of Crystal and Milan Run. And there's a crazy stat on top. It's not that crazy, but it's interesting to me, where Jonak's got, again, better healing and better damage output than Wuya on that specific Ana pick, and he's on the winning team. Usually when you're on the winning team, you should have less healing. So the fact that Wuya's got less healing means the players on Valiant are just dying before they can get the heals in.
Well, looking for that set play on the Bionade. Doesn't manage to actually clip onto anybody. Flora gets a couple nice little dinks there on a Silver 3. And I mean, this is an all-in, you know, from the Valiant. And it has to be. This is one fight territory, basically, where the cart is at. If they get team killed at all, that is it. It is over. And YXL will be moving up 2-0, so they need to play consistently. They need to play tight. They need to make sure that people are not going down, and they cannot be letting 2 people get clipped by these Bionades from Jonak. Not going to be seeing the huge punish here, but look at this. Ouya, again, just speed running his way to these nano boosts, but he needs to find value. He needs to be able to use it before he gets picked off. Let's see what his target is going to be. Throws this one out on a Milan Run, but now Silver 3 is in danger of dying. Sliver of HP, the Bionade now going to be expiring. They look to pocket him back up. Hybe going to be taken out by Yakbone, but it's going to be at the cost of 2 kills for the side of the NYXL. Bianca falling low as well. They push forward, they look to try to knock him out of that mech. They do not manage to make it happen, and now he can go ahead and fuel these support ultimates up for NYXL. But they're totally fine with this. They've got plenty of time in the bank and not far to go, so just playing this patiently, sacking one player, and then, you know, coming back in with the nano boost with the Valkyrie, they're going to be totally fine with this.
And this is kind of what they did versus Shanghai yesterday when they had that draw as well. We did get a very fast nano. That's off the back of Silver 3 and Shocheng not dying too fast, but here we go, the damage coming in. Silver 3 is already chunked and down.
He's dead. Jonak finds the kill. We are not quite able to get that second nano boost online in time. Now Hybe going to be eliminated, so it's only we are trying to keep everybody topped off. Milan Run goes in for the duplicate, immediately is knocked out of that. The bomb there from Flora helping get the elimination on that. Milan Run now is gone, and the cart will just go ahead and slowly glide forward into the glowing box of victory. NYXL making it look easy, speed running this series so far. They move up 2-0. It's match point for them. One more, and this is over.
And there's a sort of situation here where even, you know, the losing fight there for Valiant, where they couldn't pull the trigger fast enough. They didn't pull the trigger at all, let's be honest. York Excelsior dive straight in. Silver 3's your target. Silver 3's eliminated, and suddenly things go wide. I can see, you know, why the nanos are being given to Milan Run. It's pretty typical in this current meta to be nanoing your Echo, but I think you gotta keep Silver 3 alive. It's not always his fault, by the way. The damage from Flora and Feather is just that good, and the healing coming through and trying to heal for Silver 3, maybe Cho-Chang's with the Matrix swap, it's not good enough to keep your tanks alive, and their team is falling apart as soon as Silver 3 dies.
Yeah. Well, really rough tidings here for the side of the Valiant, who need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to get that first win on the board. But NYXL, I mean, you were talking about it, this seemed like maybe their best chance here during the June Joust, but it is looking like such a faraway prospect for them. We'll see if they can get it done when we come back. Assault was where they were able to get that draw versus Shanghai. Maybe it's where they can get a win versus the NYXL. We'll find out in just a few when we return, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back. Well, this has been a very fast affair thus far. 2-0 lead for the side of the NY Excels. We get ready to go into what could be our third and final map of Temple of Anubis. The LA Valiant, unable to find any stability whatsoever on Dorado. They needed to be all in. They could not afford to lose realistically any members during that defense. They needed to go for a fuller hold. Could not make it happen. Now find themselves again in a position where they need to reverse sweep.
And yeah, I mean, this is where you're in a position where you have to reverse sweep, and statistically, you know, even based on eye test, what is going to be a game where, and I'll repeat myself here, they are like most winnable game in June Joust, and I only say that because New York is still having some issues. They look okay, but then they look good versus Philadelphia, but then they kind of falter in the last two matches, and now I think they're getting outskilled as well. It's like when you see LA Valiant sort of do well, you have Crystal and Milan popping up. Crystal can get these opening frags, but that's starting to slow down now. The DPS on New York Excelsior is one of the really good points. Jonak is easily and by far outpacing Wuya. It's not even close.
Oh, yeah.
So in multiple areas, New York, if they just don't make easy mistakes and they just play the standard game, they're not losing today. And because of that, I mean, for Valiant, if they lose today, which it looks like they will, they play against Hangzhou Spark and the Philadelphia Fusion, and I just don't see that happening either. So Valiant are in real trouble if they don't pull it together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on that Jonak point specifically, I'd say that, you know, the only place that Wuya is outpacing Jonak is in nano boost build time. That's because his tanks are taking so much damage that he is just, you know, he's surging his way to these nano boosts in like 36 seconds at the starts of these rounds, but he hasn't been able to find the value. That's the big issue. He doesn't have the follow-up. He's not nailing the sleep darts. He's not nailing these bio nades. You know, the way that Jonak is. And now we're going to be seeing potentially, I'm expecting this to be swapped up, but Wuya at the moment is hovering
Probably.
the Baptiste. So, you know, maybe they're going to stick with this.
Yeah. I'm looking at this like another situation where, okay, let's consider that the opening win condition for LA Valiant is that they can win these neutrals. Okay, how do they do that? Well, they will play on the Ana here again. Hybe's going to go Mercy here, pretty much 100%, I guarantee it. And at that stage, they better do that, otherwise they give themselves even less of a chance to win. You're going to have Silver 3 Milan run, Silver 3 Shocheng take a bunch of damage here. Wuya's going to get a nano in about 45 seconds, maybe 50 seconds maximum. They will go for the dive with a Silver 3, make some space for Milan run, and maybe get a frag. If they can't do that, they're in a rough spot because that's the only real advantage they have in these kind of matchups here. I don't expect Jonak or NY Excelsior to be able to get a faster nano, and that's, like you said, it comes down to the damage that the tanks are taking on purpose to try and build these nanos up fast.
All right, well, Crystal going to be starting on the Widowmaker here yet again. Let's see if he's going to end up having to change over onto the Ashe. Really nice little dink there onto Bianca. Finding that shot through. Shocheng kind of surprised that he even had the line of sight to be able to do that. It's going to be popping up over the top, looking for the hit on the feather. Can't quite make it happen. We'll have to pull back down here onto the low ground as Bianca just waits out this Bionade. And then we'll get topped up by Jonak, who is keeping close pace with Wuya, but not quite surging past him. So it seems like Wuya, again, should be first to the Nano. But again, it's all about getting value from it. Silver 3 falling down to about half HP. Shocheng,
they gotta go now.
For the moment. Yeah, just going to be antied out, but now those are on cooldown. We'll see if they can try to press forward. It's going to be Nano onto Yakpung. Does get antied, but he's playing around the bubble. He's keeping himself safe. He's not taking too much damage, but as I say that, there comes the beam from behind. Milanron, he gets the Nano boost. They find the value, and that can be the go button now for the Valiant to get themselves in onto point A. Silver 3 off screen, going to be taken low, going to be taken down as Bianca finds the kill. Shocheng now going to have to try to take things up here for his squad as Yakpung is on his way back over to the point. There's going to be a third tank in the mix as Feather goes for the duplicate, and Flora out-snipes Crystal, takes him out. Bianca hounds down Milanron, and just like that, the opening, the door has been shut in the face of the Valiant. There's a self-destruct up over the top towards the spawn. Will not be able to find any kills, but NYXL, they regroup. They have Yakpung back at the front line. He nearly has his Primal Rage, and they can continue to hold.
I think I'm going to say it again, the gearbox is broken here. They get into first and second, no problems, but the third gear just doesn't exist. They get the opening frag to Yakpung, he steps forward, takes too much damage, can't get out. They have the 6v5, Silver 3 doesn't even die until later, but it's the DPS that are outpacing his Feather, had the duplicate, now Milanra has a duplicate, copies over towards the Winston, does trap Yakpung and forces a Primal, that's not bad to start with.
Yeah, we'll see. Could end up being Primal v Primal v Primal. Is yeah, Milanron and Silver 3 will both pop there. Self-destruct going to be going off from Shocheng in the meantime off screen. Doesn't manage to find anything. Answering self-destruct from Bianca into the back. Doesn't manage to find a kill, and Shocheng will, be able to shut down that remake. Feather, however, with the nano boost, goes in, beams down Milanron, but the res is instantly there. They do not have to punish. He himself individually was unable to take out the Mercy. Will be a trade out now in the end on the Winstons as Yakpung goes down and Jonak finds Silver 3. So again, the Valiant find themselves in a little bit of an awkward position where they can't quite push in onto this point yet. They're starting to inch their way through now, but Yakpung is going to be on the way back. So NYXL could still look to turn this fight. First tick's going to be given up for free, so not going to be a complete full hold. At least for now, we'll see what happens, just how far they can take this. Flora going to be gone. Bionade out onto 2. Milanron and Hybe both in danger, but Silver 3 in the most danger of all. Yakpung pressing up here into his high ground, manages to find the kill on his counterpart, Winston. And now it all falls on the shoulders of Shocheng yet again to try to keep the team protected. Bionade comes out on the 2. He's got to pull back. Milanron as well. 90% of the way to the duplicate. Does manage to stay alive. Can't capitalize on that ante. You know, is available. Jonak using it on the fadeaway, drops down to the low ground, throws it out onto Bianca, who nearly has another self-destruct online. Milanron falling low, uses the duplicate, copies the Diva, now comes in, looks to get that self-destruct up as well. Silver 3 with another Primal Rage can buy a bit more time as he does fall low, needs to pop it, pops it just at the perfect moment. Self-destruct Feather, unable to find anything. Shocheng now going to be using one of his own. See if it finds a pick. It does not. Feather going to be taken back here into the Echo.
Time's running out.
Milanron going to be slept as the Nano comes through. Perfect timing there from Jonak. Self-destruct not going to be able to find anything, but Jonak will get taken down. Yakpung looking to turn the tide of the fight, goes in with the Primal Rage, gets the corner shot onto Silver 3, manages to take him out. Both supports, however, going to be gone from the side of the NYXL, but it might not matter because now it's all just on Crystal and Milanron. Crystal finds one. Hybe going to be eliminated. His Feather does get taken down. NYXL fighting tooth and nail trying to make this happen. Crystal loses out on the Wraith Walk. Does manage to get the melee hit onto Flora, but that might be as good as it gets. They get the push back. Friday with the swap onto the Lucio. Gets the boop onto Silver 3. Denies the touch. And they end the fight. So well played from the NYXL. 59.6% is all that the Valiant can get.
And that is with both Jonak and Friday falling in that final fight there as well. You had Hybe and Wuya living for a very long time, but there was a really critical play there they called out. Nano onto Milanra, then instantly slept. Jonak has been playing phenomenally. And this is the kind of situation now where every single time Valiant, they get off that starting block, but then they can't just, the tempo doesn't just keep up. And what I'm saying by that is they have a situation, let's roll back a bit. Shocheng was capping the point, got that initial tick in, and then as soon as New York start running in, Shochang on pretty good HP, he's still on like 500 HP, instantly zooms away. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. There's just no presence there. Like, LA Valiant have no interest in trying to hold chokes and trying to, you know, receive the pressure from NYXL. What they happen to do is Valiant just go into the small room in the high ground, and they hold up there, and then you have these bio-nades flying on in. Yakpung goes in. Yeah, he kind of died. He does a lot of damage. I think he died for it as well, but he gets silver 3. And Valiant are just caught. They're stuck. They can't get themselves out. And you have Ouya sitting on Nano Boost. He could be using that on Silver 3 to buy space, because what they need is space. They don't have any space to work with. They have no area control. He saves it to Nano Milan has to wait for Milan to come back out of the Diva duplicate form, go back in the Echo form. And really what Valiant need to do is just Nano Silver 3, buy the space first, and allow the space to give Milan what he needs to do in terms of, you know, the area and the peel to work with.
Well, I appreciate the observers showing us the little lineup here on the Bionade, but unfortunately, therefore, we doesn't manage to find anything. Now, NYXL on the attack. Just need to get just shy of 60%, and this series is over. Once again, the Valiant need to be all in, cannot afford to lose a single member realistically here.
6k damage 4, by the way. And that is extremely far ahead of everybody else.
Oh, the Bionade comes through. They're chasing in. They're looking for the finish. Will actually be Bianca who loses out on the mech. Goes into the pilot form. Just going to be pistoling his way back in if possible. Nearly halfway there as Yakpunk comes up around the corners looking for Shocheng. He will get D-mech. Silver 3 getting top back up. Needs to be the foundation here for the squad. Needs to stay alive. Milanron dropping down onto the low ground. The Pocket comes through to try to keep him up. But as the Pocket is paying attention to him, it's not paying attention to Silver 3. He will be eliminated. Shocheng denied. Getting back into the mech. They take him out. Flora going to be the only casualty thus far on the side of the NYXL. Sleep Dart will put Yakpung down on the ground here for now, but NYXL, they are capping. They already have a single tick. They're up to 44%. They charge through Crystal. The Sticky Bomb's coming up with the kill. Ouya is in the back. He's got nowhere to go. Sleep in on to this Wrecking Ball. The pile driver comes down. The adaptive shield has already been burned. Hybe pops a res, puts Crystal back into the mix, but I would have thought that maybe Ouya would have been the target that you'd be looking for. So you have the Sleep Dart, so you have those anti-nades, but either way you slice it, it just does not seem winnable for the side of the Valiant. They clear the point yet again. Just Shocheng left standing between them and victory. They take down the Diva. They get rid of the duplicate. They take out the Diva again. They finish off the Echo, and that will be it. Put a fork in them. They are done. The LA Valiant, unfortunately here, will lose the series as NYXL storms their way to a 3-0 victory.
And what's crazy about this matchup at Kilios is we didn't even get the sort of full map that we had yesterday. There's no draw in here. There's no Shanghai Dragons giving them a bit of a freebie. New York are only interested in one thing, a clean sweep, a 3-0, a comfortable game. And, you know, a good, you know, return after losing in the last 2 matches. New York definitely wanted something where they weren't going to hold back at all, and that's what they showed. Even in that last sort of engagement, that one-and-done fight was a bit extended. You have Jonak finding the Nano first. He's on the attacking team, attacker side, and is going to get that Nano faster usually. And just no delay, straight into Yakpung, straight in. They don't even have to wait for the Nano, by the way. They just start clearing areas, start taking ground away from Valiant on a full confidence, and they should be, because they know they're the better team today. And with that, Valiant looking in a sour state, because I'm, again, looking at their next couple of matches. Don't look particularly winnable, and the conversation continues, you know, between Valiant, London, and Titans. Which team's going to get there first? And I'm starting to look towards London and Titans just slightly more, because this is not a good performance from Valiant today. But well done to New York for clearing a nice 3-0.
Yeah, very concisely done. Now, going ahead and taking a look at our player of the match. The winner today is going to be Feather, who had a little bit of a slow start, in particular on the first map, but really kind of came into his own as the series went on. I mean, even just by map 2 on Dorado was just starting to really destroy people when it came down to the Echo. So, congratulations to him. I think this might actually be, I believe this is his first player of the match win.
Could be. Yeah, I don't remember seeing one for Feather just yet, and, you know, great output here. I think Dorado especially, when he came back and kind of made the clutch happen in New York. We're down a player, and then here we go. This is the Nano comes on in, dives in, full confidence, takes down both supports on one single flurry of the stickies. and it's just been beautiful stuff. But across the board, I think there was just great stuff happening from New York. Flora's damage stats were far, head and shoulders above everybody else in the game. Jonak was, incredible in terms of the amount of bionades he was hitting. Really great sleeps, clutch sleeps as well, onto Milano when he gets nano, stuff like that. Even seeing then Feather, to go back to Feather a little bit, when he duplicated over towards Ana in that last fight, he was putting a lot of pain onto Silver 3 himself as well. So, it's like, if you are Silver 3, it doesn't get any easier when there's 2 Anas on the field, and suddenly Feather's now dropping an extra nano boost. You put onto Bianca, and it's all lights out from there.
Yeah, just, a brutal state of things here. 40 eliminations for him, 21,000 damage done throughout on the Echo. Overall, just a very good performance from Feather, which is good to see because, these are these rookie players that are coming into the Overwatch League for the very first time, and seeing them start finding some stability, shaking off the jitters a bit faster, getting into that, that game time, mindset much more quickly is really good to see, and it's good for the future prospects of the NYXL as they continue to grow throughout this season. So, a good little reply here for NYXL after their loss yesterday, a dominant victory. Anything other than dominance versus the Valiant for NYXL would have been a very poor look for them and their own chances here during the June Joust. So I think this is going to reinstill some hope here for the side of the NYXL fans as well. So yeah, overall, how long was that? 45 minutes since we went live.
Not
Very
quite
fast.
I'd be interested to know what the in-game time is, because I think Dallas did a speedrun of London in 29 minutes. I don't know how fast this one was, but it felt fast. It felt quick, because he had some full holds in there. He had the 2-0 on Ilios. There was a little bit of, action in terms of Valiant, because they won a lot of neutrals. They were able to, extend the series just due to the fact of winning fights, but you give that to whatever silver lining exists, you have to give a little bit there to Valiant. And I feel like every single time we do a match with Valiant, you have to find some small, semblance of what can they do? Is there anything here to work with? And there's a little bit of something, but put that car back in the garage, have some mechanics work on it, and we'll see you next week.
All right, well, we will be seeing you in just a few minutes, because when we come back, we are going to be having our crunch time. We'll break down a little bit more of the action here from this first series before we jump into the next one, so don't go anywhere. That's coming up in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Hello, welcome back. It's time for our game break presented by
I can do the intro if you want.
Damn it, I did it twice. This is, I did it yesterday once. Now I got it this time. So that's my one mess up gone for the day. Got nothing but perfection for the rest of this. But it's time for us to break down a little bit of that action here from our first series of the evening. A very one-sided affair for the NYXL if you're just now joining us. And I think let's just go ahead and get straight into our crunch time here presented by Cheesy Grooves. And let's talk about somebody that nobody ever talks about on the side of the NYXL. Let's talk about Jonak.
I don't know if no one talks about it. I feel like Jonak's kind of like he's the most
carry.
well-known player on the entire team. He's like the captain of the team, the only returning player next to Bianca. He's like the guy.
He's underrated.
He's kind of like I would say, almost he has to be the face of the team now. I would say for New York Excelsior. He honestly had some great showing today on Ana. And again, I said this yesterday, but he's mostly been known as a Zenyatta guy in the past. But really, the more I see his Ana, the more I'm convinced Ana has by far the best hero for Jonak so far. I saw his stats on Dorado, and it wasn't close. I think for most of the maps it wasn't close, but he was easily hitting a lot of shots, doing great damage and also great healing on the Ana at the same time. So many bio nades. I mean, you just look at the upper HUD for the LA Valiant and you're just seeing Shou Cheng, Silver 3, here's another one, just a bio nade landing time and time again. And you wonder why Silver 3 is always at risk of dying, because Jonak is landing skill shots left, right, center. That's another sleep dart. I mean, how do you play the game if you're Silver 3 when Jonak's just doing that time and time again?
You don't, as we've seen throughout the duration of these 3 maps. It was just utter dominance from him. And I mean, every time Silver 3 tries to go in for the engagement, the sleep comes in, there's a bio on the back end. He makes the call for the DPS to come over, and everybody just kind of focus fires, and they burn him down. And, you know, at the end there, in particular on Temple of Anubis, I kind of saw, you know, exactly what I was talking about yesterday, where, it seems like the Valiant need to figure out how to play split between Silver 3 and Milanron, enabling both of them simultaneously. We saw Milanron falling low. Everybody came to his aid, and then Silver 3 died in the meantime. So, that split allocation of resources is just not really there for the side of the Valiant. But when it comes down to Jonak, the guy's able to do it all. He keeps himself sustained, he is killing enemy opponents, and he's keeping his teammates up. So, the guy is just one of the best out there. You take a look back through the annals of Overwatch history, and you would have said, the biggest kind of like support showdown would have been Jonak and Ryu Jae-hong. Ryu Jae-hong known for his Ana, Jonak known for his Zenyatta. And it seems like now with Ryu Jae-hong gone out of the league, retired, Jonak's just been like, okay, well, I'll just encompass that as well. I'll just be one of the best Anas in the world, if not like the best. So that's just this is mine right now.
Because back then, Jonak was a rookie. Season 1, Jonak was a rookie. He's got scouted from ranked, and he's kind of like that new guy in the block. Like, who is he? He was kind of like a Lan back then, and now he's a veteran. He's the guy that's received an MVP award for his time in Season 1. And honestly, every time we get into new seasons, you look at veteran plays, you're like, is this guy kind of washed now? Is he less good? I look at Jonak, and he's still putting up a performance. He's still looking very, very good, very fantastic. Just trying to work things out in his team, because he's got a lot of rookie players in the squad, which is why New York has had a bit of a slow start to the season. But you get those rookies in line, you have Jonak leading the way, and I think New York becomes a very good team.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to do it here for our game break and our crunch time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. When we come back, we have our marquee matchup of the weekend, I would say. This is going to be the Seoul Dynasty going up against the Shanghai Dragons. Both teams coming off the back of victories yesterday. Let's see how they face off against each other. That's going to be coming up in just a few minutes, so do not go anywhere because you do not want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.
Very low. Pulse bomb out. Lead and Jimmy both get absolutely blown to smithereens.
It's the void here, but it's far too late to save the team momentum. You think you really want to get this. Defense Matrix would have been pretty handy now, and that is an amplification matrix built in the first fight.
Back up into the sky. Fitz finds one. A great headshot from him. Can they deny the res? Nisha's right on top. Does manage to put him back into the mix. He'll jump away. Now Fitz has to dodge and weave around these shots, but lines up for the hit there on the Jimmy. gesture knocks him right into his crosshair.
OG the very least, but there could be a Florida primal waiting this fight. BQB, yep. Oh, OG! He can't use the primal, he gets stunned up, and he goes down with his ultimate in hand, and it all ends here.
I'm so angry with myself right now that I did this again.
Welcome back to June Joust, everyone. Marquee matchup
Take
day.
it. Just take it. Goodbye. All
We got the marquee matchup. I'm Kevin Aberwalker with Seth Achilles leave. There we go. You got the Achilles return in second as well. But we are back for week 2 here, where in marquee matchup, Seoul versus Shanghai, two of the best teams in the region, especially historically as well. You look at 2020 playoffs; these two went all the way right down to the down to the top 4 of the entire playoffs for the whole season. So very storied. In fact, here's a fun stat for you: 7-7 all-time match loss record between them. They're completely dead even. So this one's going to go 8-7 for one team and 7-8 for the other.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really tight-knit one. I'm curious to see who's going to be able to come out on top, because I imagine that this is one of those ones in particular when you're trying to set up your pick'ems. Hey, check it out, the link at the bottom of your screen if you haven't done it yet. Where it's really difficult to decide, who is going to be able to be victorious here, especially after the slightly rocky start for the Shanghai Dragons just last week. So it was a really weird beginning to the June Joust for them. So this could definitely be a really difficult matchup in particular to try and figure out who is going to come out on top. Taking a look at our power rankings by IBM Watson. This is for our damage dealers here, and Lip right up at the top.
Dude, he sniped it. Lip has just sniped it out from Sparkle and Doha by 1 point as well versus Sparkle, 2 points versus Doha. A little bit further behind is just Fletted, not even that far, equal with Yaki. So, I mean, Lip, Fletted, Sparkle, Doha. Obviously, they've won a lot as well. Watson loves it when you win. And Lip leading the way. And I've kind of confirmed that in my own, when I check stats on Lip as well, he's had some phenomenal ones out there. So, brilliant stuff. Fletted is someone we've got to talk a little bit more about, though. Fletted is kind of, he's been that guy that's been putting up numbers on the Echo. On the other side, if you didn't see the game that Seoul had yesterday, I mean, you missed out on Fitz becoming an absolute monster on the Ashe. I felt like this was kind of like when we saw Shy coming on through on the Ashe, and the whole time we were like, hang on, Shy was on the bench, and now you see Fitz. Now, Fitz hasn't been on the bench, but Fitz, I feel like, hasn't played a high amount of Ashe. We saw him on Sombra, we've seen him a lot of other picks, but doing Fitz now on the Ashe, it's like that second coming, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was just a mind-numbing performance from him. I couldn't really wrap my head around what he was able to do. The start of that Hollywood attack was just nothing but perfection from Fitz, tearing people apart. I went back and I was trying to time, how quickly he was able to build up, for those bobs, and it was, just shy of a minute, I think, off the, from the time that the doors open to when he gets that first bob online. It was just disgusting from him, and we'll see if he is going to be able to deliver on that yet again against, a tougher opponent, granted, in Lip. We will have Fleta and Lip starting today. Molly is going to be here.
That's a mistake. It's actually Izayaki.
Yes.
It will be Izayaki.
I was going to say, I'm seeing Izayaki in my lobby, so I think that this is, and there he is on the player cam. So, slight little change up there. But Fleta and Lip, this is the correct DPS duo. We're not going to be seeing them start Who Are You? And I think that this might straight up be just because, the Shanghai Dragons, they know that the Seoul Dynasty is going to be a significantly tougher opponent for them, and they want more time to develop with Who Are You in scrims before they bring him out in a matchup like this. I could be wrong. Maybe we see him depending on what maps come up. But that's going to be my initial take on it. We'll see if I'm correct or not.
Absolutely. I think, for Shanghai, no chance has been taken here. You gave Who Are You the debut yesterday. You gave Molly the entire series. Molly's been on the bench for the whole season. Give him some play time. Valiant are here. That's going to be the testing ground. Molly looked great. He got an MVP yesterday as well. Well deserved.
He did.
But now it's about Izayaki coming back in. Now it's about the sort of, the starting lineup for Shanghai, the 6 that you probably expect here. And from here on outwards, they know that this is one that's it's going to be important to win, because 4 matches, Shanghai have already got an 0-3 result earlier versus Hangzhou Spark. They can't afford a 2-2 result. Shanghai Dragons want to finish out 3-1. This will be their last match in the June Joust before we head into the actual tournament portion itself. So in terms of the qualification matches, Shanghai want to finish 3-1 here. Seoul Dynasty, their second match, they would love to be at a 2-0 instead. And if they can get this 2-0, they might also push Shanghai out of contention, because 2-2 in APAC might not be good enough to get you in the top 4.
Well, you're right, it might not be. I'll have to wait and see if it is. For now, we will be kicking things off on Lijiang Tower. See who's going to be able to start things off. Draw first blood versus their opponent. They see we will move into Dorado, Anubis, Eichenwald, and then potentially Oasis if we can go all the way to a map 5. But why stop there? Let's just get some draws in on Assault and Hybrid and just keep it going.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. This is bound to be an incredibly exciting series.
Should be a long series. It should be a good one. I'm expecting, there's no way a 3-0 happens here. I say as I've probably cursed the match at this stage. Very important thing below your screen right now. Last meeting of these two teams, 2020 Grand Finals, playoffs 3-2 upset for Seoul to end Shanghai season. Reason it will be an upset is because, Seoul kind of only found their mark in the playoffs, so Shanghai was looking dominant throughout the entire season. So Shanghai now want that revenge. Last time they played Seoul, left a sour taste in the mouth. Here we go. Starting out map number 1, straight into it. It's Doomfist for Lip and double shield for both teams.
Yeah, Prophet just going to be here on the May yet again. Punch going through on a Marvel, taking him quite low. Gesture in the meantime going to be the first tank to fall. Lee Jae-gon does get traded out, however, as Izayaki just steadily tries to keep everybody else topped up. Lip falling low, 88 HP from him. Will receive a bit of healing as Void uses the kinetic grasp to get just a little bit of shielding, but Fitz,
that's nasty.
Great headshot, takes out Izayaki. That's going to be the immortality field gone. Now they can try to press the issue, get in on top of these tanks and break them down. Points still not going to be taken by either side. Looking better and better for Dynasty as time goes on. Flashbang in on the 2. And the follow-up is going to be there. Floodit and Lee Jae-gon both falling. Now Fate eliminated. They will push forward, trying to get some extra damage in. The objective barrier there from Void, keeping him protected for the time being. But it will be the Dynasty who strike first, who do get the lockdown of the point.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Flitter go to Reaper here. Reaper Doom is great versus double shield, but we'll be sticking over towards the McCree for now, 63% and counting up. The more important thing that we saw from Izayaki dying early is that he doesn't get the amp matrix. He was on 80-something% when Creative was only about 50%. They would have had a very early window, and that would have probably have given Shanghai Dragons all of the advantage they need. Here we go, both windows out at the same time.
Yeah, window for window with the wall is there from Prophet, crucially to eat up some extra damage, but as he tries to go for the Blizzard, he just gets absolutely ripped to shreds. Fate finding the kill, yeah, and it gets completely canceled. Now they have to use the Flux, but Fitz is there with the Deadeye, so they still have the Wombo combo to help take him down. Lip going in, does get that uppercut finish onto Fitz. Now has the Meteor Strike out. Gesture just going to be dancing in and around those barriers. Almost gets the elimination on the Lip, who barely manages to exit safely. And despite Lip's best efforts, this is going to be the Dynasty getting ready to regroup on the point. Flux now coming through from Voids, looking to see who he's trying to catch. Seems like it's going to end up being Prophet, the sole target. But sound barriers there to try to keep him alive. Gesture falling in the front line. Bongo down from Fate. Energizing the team with the Supercharger, trying to turn the tide of this fight and trying to get the flip here for the first time for the side of the Dragons. Grecian not going to be able to connect. They cannot get the stun in on the Prophet, who continues to run around in the main. Now currently going to be in the ice
sound barrier now.
The freeze on the Void. Yeah, sound barrier gone, as you say. Lee Jae-gon taken out of the fight, and this is looking great for the side of the Dynasty, Avril.
That's a really weird line of play for Shanghai Dragons, where Lee Jae-gon's down and Creative even pops in the window, and I think that happened earlier where Creative pops in the window, then Dragons lose their main support, no more sound barrier available, and this is sort of situation where Shanghai probably didn't expect that Seoul was going to be staying in the fight the way they were. They were down members, Shanghai were up members, and they didn't respect that. They didn't sound barrier, and they're going to lose that fight because of it. They have to come in faster, might even have to sound barrier right away just to get into the action. There it is.
Yeah, sound barrier off the bat again. The wall coming up to try to block off that amp matrix. Deadeye out from Fitz. Oh, the halt! Tries to pull them in. Perfectly timed, however, is that immortality field from the side of Izayaki. They can't quite get the full value of it, but the freeze comes through from Prophet, catching out multiple members on the side of the Dragons is the Dynasty. They will be able to finish this 100-0. Lip the last one to fall. Nobody able to touch. And while it is scrappy, it is close at times, it's also a dominant showing as the Dynasty take this 100-0 to kick off Lijiang Tower.
Now as we move on as well, I'm interested to see what Shanghai Dragons want to run composition-wise, and the reason why I bring that up is because there is a world where you could have actually subbed out Flitter for Who Are You in this matchup, and the reason why I say that is because you look at, if you're going to play a Doomfist, bring Who Are You to play the Doomfist, Lip then come and play the McCree, and that seems like a more comfortable kind of lineup for Dragons to really have this sort of comp going for them. Flitter's numbers were not good in that last matchup. Fitz dominated the McCree. You saw the 3K on the Deadeye coming on through, as well as other picks that were definitely there as well. Outpacing in terms of finding the Deadeyes faster. I mean, yeah, he was 26% ahead, 27% ahead of Flitter. So we'll see how that continues as we move over on towards Night Market. It's going to be the Soldier 76, backed up by the McCree.
Okay, well, double hit scan Prophet still going to be sticking with the May, at least for now. And it will be the inside track here for the side of the Dynasty, so going to be defending from the point. As the rest of the Dragons look to inch their way forward. Prophet just spamming out with these right clicks, trying to find a stray headshot so far. Has been eluding him. Immortality Field going to be used by Creative. On CD now, and Marvel going to fall. Immortality Field does come through from Izzyaki, trying to keep the rest of the squad alive. Fins are on the back, does manage to find one kill, but Lip is there to capitalize. Gets a melee finish. They're onto the counterpart, McCree, and it seems like the Dragons should be good for this. Perfectly timed flashbang from Lip will take out Prophet, and they're finally on the board.
Oh, so it looked like a bit kind of tough for Dragons to get in there because they had lost complete control over the point itself. They had to retake it. And as the point unlocks, it's Fate running in with the Fortify. Immortality Field has to be used very quickly because Fate goes down quite low. Izzyaki once more has a faster amplification matrix, but he goes down. Thankfully, though, Dragons will be able to keep the rest of the members alive and get the kills necessary as we're looking towards 20%. Early window should be popped, but there's already a flank coming on through.
Oh, well, as the window comes out from Izzyaki, Creative manages to find one, but Lip utilizing it, breaks down the barriers, follows up with 2 headshots. Just to eliminate it. Seems like it's going to be the sound barrier and the amp matrix for the team fight win. And Dynasty now going to have to reset. 37% on the board currently for the Dragons. Sound barrier about to be up for Anamo on this attack. And with that and the Blizzard, you would expect that the Dynasty should be able to get this flip. If they don't, then it seems like we're just going to be set to go into a third final round.
It'll be Flux versus no sound barrier as well, and this is Left already down quite low HP. Mortality Field out, and there's not even a Blizzard yet, but you got multiple members frozen.
Yeah, Blizzard now going to be coming through. Lip, the first one to fall, Flutter with attack. Pfizer does manage to find Creative. Izzyaki going to be traded back, so both Baptiste going to be eliminated from the fight, both McCrees as well. Lee Jae-gon moving forward, manages to find Marvel. Gesture now going to go down. Prophet barely makes it into the ice block in time as Anamo tries to peel for him. Trying to push back Lee Jae-gon, but he is going to get sent over the side and can't quite skate on that rooftop. Lee Jae-gon comes out on top, asserting his Lucio dominance, and is getting ready to lap Anamo. That second sound barrier nearly available as he continues to top up Void right now. And, you know, like I said, they needed to get the flip right there. They do not have it. Marvel picked off at the very beginning here. Spitz is around the back with this. McCree
still committing.
doesn't have a Deadeye, however, for a flank.
Yeah, that's both tanks down. Supercharger's gone as well, and Mortality Field used. This could be it here, 96%, and Solar falling apart.
Yeah, he's going to be tagging the point at the moment here, trying to force out OT, would expect. Fits around the back. Does manage to find Lee Jae-gon. So that will be the sound barrier, not in this extended fight, but with Fitz falling. Dynasty, they need to dig deep right now if they want to pull this one back, if they want to get on the board. Otherwise, we're looking at a returning fire 100% to 0. Namo trying to get that boop off the side of the map here on the Lip. Finally does manage to make it happen, but Prophet will kill him before he even goes over top. Fate falling. It seems like the Dynasty might just be able to persevere in the fight to get this flip, and they will, so we're not done yet. And Anamo, that pick off on the Lee Jae-gon and this kill right here, you know, not using the sound barrier, this has allowed Anamo to catch back up.
Absolutely. With Lee Jae-gon down early, you don't have a sound barrier to play into it, and Shanghai Dragons slowly, I mean, they were slowing down on those kills. And this is where now, very important, flip back 0 to 99 for the catch-up. Double support ultimates available here. Fits over towards a Deadeye as well. Is this going to be enough? Pretty even in terms of everything across the board. If Marvel is still on the ball for now. Window getting popped. Lee Jae-gon responds.
Oh, what? Prophet just dies? No Wraith Walk available, just comes off the top, gets scouted, and just falls over. Sound barrier comes in from Anamo on the back end. They will manage to trade this out as Lip goes down. Fits with the flashbang kill, gets rid of Lee Jae-gon. Anamo dead on the back end. His attack visor now going to be popped from Fleta. Starting to push forward, just has this perfect lineup here as Marvel cannot escape. The flip will come back through. It's just Prophet alive around the corner. He has been spotted. He's going to have to use the Wraith Walk to touch in onto the point to force out this OT. As soon as that expires, he is dead. Anamo is the one who has to try to touch, but he just cannot do so. You can see him getting gate kept on the back end there by Lee Jae-gon. It's 100% to 47. Shanghai Dragons, they take us to Gardens to settle the score.
This has been a great performance by Izayaki, no doubt about it. You look at the map, faster at Matrixes pretty much every single time versus Creative. The only issue there is he has gone down pretty early in some of these fights, and that's due to some of the damage focus from Seoul Dynasty. A great kill onto Prophet right at the end there, 6v5. Like you said, no Wraith form, nothing else coming on through. Prophet just gets annihilated, and instantly Shanghai Dragons, they'll be able to find the success. And this is where, yeah, okay, Creative does get the kill to Izayaki here, so that's probably the only area that's been kind of bad for Izayaki. Lip on this McCree I also think has been a real boon, because you look at Control Center, Flitter on the McCree, that's not really one of his heroes. You never look at Flitter and think, yeah, McCree's like one of his proper picks. It really isn't. Izayaki down early again. Great shot by Fitz in the comp.
I mean, well, of all people to start things off on Afara, it's actually going to be Fitz and not Fled. I'd be curious to see if he decides to try to match this. Because that's what I was getting ready to talk about it when we mentioned, you know, Fleta not being, you know, at the start of Night Market, you know, could have had Who Are You in here, because we're not thinking about Fleta as the McCree player. I was thinking maybe they want to have him on Farah for Gardens. It's not the case so far. Fitz with a really nice start. Found that opening pick, and the barrage is almost online.
Yeah, and even then, I'm thinking as well, you could have Who Are You on the fire as possible, but this is the lineup we're going with now. Gestures back over towards the Hog, and this is going to be potentially struggling for Shanghai Dragons. They can't shut down Fitz, trying to get him towards the point, and Fitz is building up towards the barrage very fast.
I mean, this is going to be pretty dangerous, though, for the Dynasty if this point gets locked down. I mean, they have the opening, you know, lockdown here. Barrage now going to be coming through, but Fitz is just instantly domed by Lip. Prophet's still going to be alive, still going to be hovering around in the skies. Does manage to beam down one, but the flashbang comes through now, and Namo going to be taken out. Prophet loses his pocket healing. Does have the duplicate. He's actually going to pop it. Goes for the Diva. It's Gesture. He's going to be respawning and trying to sprint his way back over the point as quickly as he possibly can with this Roadhog, but you know just how slow he is. Going to be waddling his way over. In the meantime, 40% established on the point for the side of the Dynasty. Fitz already moving off the far, looking to match for the hit scan. Prophet, will he do the same or stick with the Echo? I think it's going to be the latter, and it will be.
Fitz was thinking, yeah, like about the Ash, but now it's gone over towards the Soldier. Perhaps the double hit scan versus the Fire was going to be enough of a problem that Fitz doesn't feel comfortable anymore, especially when you also have Prophet in the skies. So, Lip has been definitely putting the pain, and got to say, now that Lip's been on McCree for the last two sub-maps, this one and, you know, Night Market, you're feeling the difference. The damage up from Lip has been phenomenal, really putting the pain on. Nano's available for Creative. Should be going on probably Prophet, possibly on Gesture as well if he gets into trouble.
Pile driver in with the minefield. Helix rockets going through. Void is going to be taken out of the mech. Izayaki now eliminated the sound barrier from Lee Jae-gon. Just a little bit too late to try to save him, but the return fire fight from Lip is looking great. The Deadeye finds Prophet. Gesture taken out. The rest is there on a Creative, but just like that, he's straight back into the respawn room. Fitz cannot dodge and dance around Fleta's shots well enough. He'll come out on top, and the Dragons have a firm lead now, getting ready to move over 60%.
I can tell you right now, Lip is on 1 minute and 14 average time for Deadeye earn, so he's kind of using that on cooldown. It's very fast for Lip in terms of the damage output and the rate of the charge. 65% and counting up now. Let's see if there's any opportunity for the Seoul Dynasty to make their way back in. Gesture has the whole hog available. Nano was used on him previously.
Gonna have to try to wait and build that up here. Izayaki nearly to his next nano boost, 75%.
There's Lip again.
Fitz dead. Yeah, Lip just finding these shots in the neutral fight. You know, no one really duking it out here. Good quick dash away from an ammo. Dodges out on the sleep and the Bionade. 90% now on the board for the side of the Dragons. Got to be an all-in fight. Gesture going to need to find an immense amount of value with this whole hog, or at least cause enough chaos for the rest of his team to be able to persevere. But Lip pressing forward, gets the nano boost, now has the Deadeye drawn out, tries to get the shot there on a Fitz. Can't quite make it happen for Prophet and Namo. Now both going to be eliminated. Supercharger is thrown down. The whole hog comes through, breaks through that barrier of the flashbang, stuns up Gesture. Self-destruct, gets rid of Marvel. The remix from Void takes out Gesture. He gets rid of both tanks, the 2-for-1 special. Despite the Bionade, despite the best efforts, the Shanghai Dragons will be able to take down the Seoul Dynasty here on Lijiang Tower 2-1. But both teams fighting tooth and nail to get this win on the board. Shanghai managed to make it happen, but this is looking very promising for the rest of this series.
Well, you can't see it right now, but play of the game there off screen did actually go to Lip. No surprise, put up huge numbers, massive frag, 17 final blows there, and pretty much getting an ultimate Deadeye every half, every fight and a half, maybe you could even say it there. Final kills coming on through. He even had the flashbang to cancel Gesture's whole hog in that final engagement, so really doing the most. As soon as you had the swap from Flitter's McCree to Lip's McCree, that is palpable in terms of difference felt.
Yeah. Well, a really exciting start. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. Again, hopefully this one goes the distance because it's looking to be insane. We're going to continue with map number 2 in just a few minutes when we come back. I promise you, the action is going to be great, and I promise you, I will be unmuted this time. So we'll see you in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
I'm just kidding. I'm not muted. I just wanted to mime it. But hey, welcome back to the Overwatch League, guys. We're just one map into our second series of the evening. And man, it is already off to a cracking start. Seoul Dynasty coming up just a little bit shy on Lijiang Tower. Started off very strongly with that 100-0 round on Control Center, but proceeded to lose out the following up 2 rounds. So Shanghai Dragons do kick things off up a map. Now we get ready to go back to Dorado again for the second time today to see if Shanghai is going to be able to push this into match point, or if Seoul Dynasty can very hopefully tie us up and extend this series. Because again, I'm all in for the 5-map set. I hope we can go the distance.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more Lip versus Fitz as well, especially after seeing Fitz perform superbly on the Ashe. And now Lip's coming big on the McCree. I mean, this is kind of like 2 hit scans, really coming to a header. Fitz has been, had a bit of a light shown upon him, and Lip's thinking, you know what, no, I'm the guy, and we're going to prove it. So Shanghai really made a big comeback on Lijiang Tower. They had that initial control center where it wasn't great. I didn't really like the composition that much. I thought the Doomfist was good, but kind of the wrong players playing the different picks, if that makes sense. A couple of mistakes here or there. And double shield ultimately being won by Seoul Dynasty, but as soon as you had Lip come through on that McCree, you move towards Night Market, you move towards the rest, and it's looking very dominant, I would say, even for Shanghai Dragons, especially then Easyaki finding frags out of nowhere, getting fast ant matrices. All of these things really help the Shanghai Dragons, but we'll move to Dorado now and see if we have a change of compositions, or is there going to be more maybe double shield kind of action?
All right, well, first on the defense here is the Shanghai Dragons, looking like they're going to have Fate holding things down with the Orisa Void, still going to be trying to lock down the skies with the Diva, as Floodit will be moving over to the Echo. We'll see what Dynasty want to piece together to try to counteract this. It just ended up being, at least as far as the DPS are concerned, a little bit of a mirror matchup.
I think on the support side of things, Animo should be moving over towards the Mercy here as well. Creative could be staying on the Ana. Yeah, that looks pretty normal. Or this is looking like the winning composition that Sol used yesterday. So Fitz starting on the Ashe, we're paying attention to that, especially in the 1v1 versus Lip now. Both sides will have pocketed from the Mercy. Izayaki on the map, though. That's going to be the interesting thing, but he is going to be playing behind Fate Shield, so that kind of makes sense.
Gets a little bit of damage on the Fleta, a lot of damage in on the Void as that Dink does come through. Can't get him out of the mech yet, though. But Fleta is got to play carefully here. It's going to have to rely on a bit of pocketing from Lee Jae-gon to keep him sustained up in the skies. First hook there from Gesture as he makes his way onto the high ground. Will go wide. Doesn't get the connection that he's looking for. Barrier up, just looking to make Fitz's life a little bit of a pain. Yes. The lag there for the moment as Gesture coming through, does manage to find Void, takes him out of the mech. A very good start here and a good little wraparound from him, dropping down off that high ground. See if he can get the punish onto this Baby Diva, or if Void is just going to be able to pistol his way back in. Doesn't have a nice prime target in Gesture. Be able to try to get that remech up and online. Gesture, yeah, pushing through, manages to find Lip. Cannot deny the res, however. Lee Jae-gon will manage to get that through, but Marvel pushing forward, 100 energy here on the Zarya. Takes down the Immortality field as Lee Jae-gon takes to the skies with a Valkyrie. Now it's going to be the Matrix out from Izayaki. The Bob not going to be lasting too long because of that. Izayaki able to kill that off. Prophet moving forward with the Nano Boost right up in front of Fate and Void trying to take down these tanks. You can see Fate dodging around the cart very effectively. Now gets another barrier up. Izayaki jumping up to the sky, and again, Gesture dies to another remech. That's going to be twice in a row now. Death Blossom does come through from Prophet, manages to find one before getting eliminated, and we will have a pause in the middle of the action. Fate, a sliver of HP. 3 members dead on the side of Dynasty, and Void just getting demeched. This is a very precarious spot.
Yeah, it is, and we still have, ultimates available as well. I believe Graviton Surge has been built by Marvel. I don't know if they'll continue in a 3 vs 5. However, it's looking like kind of low HP on the side of Shanghai, especially Fate, who's kind of nearly dead here. So it is, if they can maybe get the kill into Fate, make sure that the Grav isn't eaten away by Void. I can see them definitely continuing this quite strongly. The problem here is losing both of your DPS means where's the damage going to come through from the Grav? Creative would have to pop in a Bionade. It's likely that Shanghai will be able to win this fight and be able to confirm the initial fight win hold. As far as we're looking towards Lip and Fitz, we'll be definitely keeping tabs on. We did have a faster Bob by Fitz. Fitz, as I'm looking at right now, is sitting at 17,600 damage per 10. So that's a stat line that I said yesterday where Fitz was on 17k damage per 10. He's found that again. Notice something about this, though. There's a bit of an asterisk. It does fluctuate. It's not like he's doing this all the time. It's just at this exact moment in time of where it's currently sitting. If you're wondering where Lipis is at 14,000 damage per 10. So also putting up pretty big numbers. I want to actually point out Gesture as someone that really did well in that first fight. 2 hooks. He did kind of get crushed by Void's mech, but 2 hooks to start things out with for a D-mech and then a kill.
I mean, it's twice in a row now. This happened in the last round of Li Zhangtao where he gets killed by the remake. And, the last character that you might anticipate would die to something like this is the Roadhog. But Gesture somehow is just getting absolutely destroyed by Void. So it's funny to see that happen. But, yeah, when we come out of this pause, which hopefully we'll be out of pretty soon, it seems like Dynasty should be able to take this, given that Marvel has been high energy. Anama was up in the skies with the Valkyrie, so he's going to have that chain healing to be able to go through, try to keep him sustained. Fate with a sliver of HP is getting currently pocketed by Lee Jae-gon.
I think they will grab.
Half a second on the beam from Marvel will finish him off. Given how close all 3 members of Shanghai are together, that grab will net those kills, and that'll just be the wipe on the team. But it seems like we are going to be heading to a quick little break as we get things resolved, so don't go anywhere, guys, and we'll update you when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs.
Alrighty, welcome back, guys. We should be getting out of this pause momentarily, so just stay, just stay tuned in with us for a little bit. We'll talk you through it. We'll guide you through it, or let us just gently lull you into a nice little relaxed state as we get ready to go back into the action. Because this is a pause in the middle of a team fight. Always a very awkward time to have something like this happen. But if it's, obviously if there's an issue, then we have to pause the game all the same. So hopefully we'll figure out what's going on, and then we can resume. On that note, how are you doing, Avril?
Other than that, we can only speculate as to how we think things are going to go. Despite 5 being alive for Shanghai, 2 of them are critical, both tanks down. So again, we come back, and I'm pretty sure Marvel's going to grab, and we'll see what happens. Animo still has a little bit of Valk running. It could actually go Eli Flitter's going to dupe this because he's got 97% on his ultimate as well. So we've paused at a very critical time where for both teams, they're looking at the situation thinking, yeah, we could probably win this fight. But if Seoul actually win this fight, I think they cap. Because their payload position is really, really close. Shanghai would have to, they gotta really try and have Void get this mech back just to get another remake kill into somebody, because those have been pretty funny so far.
Yeah, I actually can't quite tell where Void is at. I see him now with the silhouette. Yeah, so he's just in front of the barrier. So yeah, I mean, this Grav will get a catch onto everybody, so it seems like Marvel is likely going to pull the trigger. But crucially mentioned, yeah, like you said, Fleta, 97%. He could very well get a duplicate and then copy Marvel and potentially be able to turn this if he gets a Grav of his own. It really comes down to whether or not Lee Jae-gon is, gets killed during the Graviton Surge. But that is a big potential turning point here for Shanghai to be able to actually win this out in the long run. So we'll have to wait and see. Because if he can get that up, bubble Lee Jae-gon, then there's a good amount of staying power. So it looks like we are going to be having the time ticking down. So let's go ahead and get back into the game. Just like that, the grab off the bat, as we said. Fleta gets the duplicate, gets the copy here onto Marvel. The bomb in the meantime from Lip manages to take down Creative, and Marvel will fall. And just like that, it seems like maybe the Shanghai Dragons can actually make this hold happen. It was looking so good for Dynasty in the freeze frame. Still now pushing into the back. We'll get the finish here as Fitz finishes himself with his own dynamite.
Okay. That's on with him, though. I mean, Lip goes down as well, so I mean, that's not awful in terms of having Lip go back from spawn. See if they can have a bit of a timing here for the Seoul Dynasty. It doesn't go fully their way, but it goes mostly what we thought. I don't know who was going to win that fight, but I think, the grab was definitely going to come in through, and the copy was going to come in. You noted it was probably going to be copying over towards the Zarya, so all of that definitely panned out. The Valkyrie didn't last as long as I thought it would for Animo, which is a bit upsetting. So 130 left to go. Bob is available, and a number of other ultimates, including the Nano, importantly for Creative, is now up.
Valkyrie now out for Lee Jae-gon. Bionade lobbed in here by Creative. Not going to be able to find anything, but he does have the Nano online now. I will use that onto Gesture. So he doesn't die to another remix, since Void nearly does have this on
he's just got
so he can use it on a Prophet. He's going to use it on a Prophet. Yeah, he gets right up in front of Izayaki, manages to take him out, follows up onto Fate. Res is used, brings the bat back into the fight. Does have the amp matrix, but they have to concede this point. So it will be another 2.5 minutes added to the time bank here for Seoul Dynasty. So maybe not as fast as we had initially anticipated at the start of that pause, but they do manage to get it in the end. Not going to be looking at a full hold. We'll see how the Shanghai Dragons are going to look now on this next phase of the defense.
7 HP for Prophet as well, just barely gets up with his life. This time Wraith Form is definitely available. He's just around the corner, look at that! Almost got Lip down, really sneaky. Give him a little bit of the Zarya energy charge over to Marvel as well as they make their way through streets. Fitch down, and the payload is paused as well.
Yeah, Res does come through. They force Fleta back for the moment as that duplicate. Another one is nearly available. Self-destruct from Void, not going to find anything, and just going to check. Okay, Jester's still alive. Void's back into the mech. Fleta does get picked off. It's finding a great shot now, making his way up onto the high ground. The Dynamite connects. He's looking for Lee Jae-gon, and he's got it. Goes for the unscoped left clicks to get the finish. Now just duking it out with Izayaki, who's going to be trying to stay alive. Moving down over onto the low ground. Shots coming through. Dynamite ticking away here onto Fitz. Needs to pull back. Doesn't want to take this duel. Plays this out patiently. Definitely the more measured
Shanghai
play.
ults.
Yeah, they've got quite a many few.
They got a lot coming in for them currently. Payload has been paused. Marvel's trying to slowly push this one. Obviously playing a Zarya on B means very low chance of getting onto the high ground. But how about you just take Fleta up with the bomb? Bob's got 2, what?
The bomb value is enormous. The bomb just charges straight through, knocks Fleta out of the sky. Return fire from Lip's bomb will find Profit. And Gesture is going to be eliminated here at the end of the fight. And just like that, I mean, the Dragons, they managed to turn it, they get it back into their favor. It was looking so good. The double kill coming through from Fitz. I mean, the elimination onto Lee J gone, the elimination onto Fleta. But suddenly, just an explosion of damage comes through here from the Dragons, and they managed to hold this.
Yeah, I mean, Lip also used the Bob there, so they barely get back into play. Void with a bit of a flank onto the back line, and now 1 minute 30 left to go. Lip returning on towards the Widowmaker. Thought he'd probably have more presence as a Widowmaker at long range into respawn on the Ashe, a little bit slower. Double support ultimates will be very strong. We're back towards the Marvel grab, but here's the problem, Seth. How do you get an effective grab if you don't have high ground control? You're going to need to force the Shanghai Dragons to come towards you, but Gesture's gone down, so that's one of your main tanks, one of your good pieces on the chessboard that could have really affected the high ground. More time gone. You're not going to go in without Gesture. He's going to have to wait.
Yeah. Like you said, this is going to be so difficult to try to find any kind of value here with that grab. I mean, maybe if they could catch everybody at the top. Oh, boy. I was going to say on top of the church and then have, you know, Prophet TP up Death Blossom on top of the grab, but that is just still such a risky play, and he'd likely just get, you know, one tap by Lip. Got a very nice opening kill there. Valkyrie going to be popped by Lee J gone. Izayaki falling low, uses the Immortality field. Here comes the Death Blossom. Prophet manages to find one, gets knocked down on the low ground. What? The alley-oop is there. Fitz finds Fate, follows up into Izayaki with a very nice headshot. TP out from Prophet, drops down, doesn't have any other targets as the Dragons pull back to the interior here over towards point C. Cart moving forward. Let's see if they try to push for this. They will do so. Bob opened up from Fitz, sends that one indoors. Lip popping the infra site, looking for a target. Narrowly misses the shot there on a Prophet. Rez comes out on a Void. Fleta goes for the duplicate, gets the minefield available. Drops that one down off screen as Gesture just comes crashing through, trying to cause some chaos, but Lip, he rejoins the fight, finds a headshot on the Marvel. Now Prophet gonna be gone, Fitz eliminated as well. Pile driver is there from Gesture, tries to pop the adaptive shield, but it does not matter. Anamo is the last one standing at the end of it all, and the cart will rest just shy of 2 meters away from point B. Shanghai Dragons, time and time again, it seemed like the Dynasty should have had these team fight wins, should have been able to move in to these points, but they persevere in the defense, and they managed to hold them here.
And if you were here in the last series as well, you would have heard me talking a lot about clutch factor. This is what I mean. That's the perfect example. You look at Shanghai Dragons, they're down on members. Fleta, by the way, dies without using his duplicate. He was in the face of Prophet, who, yeah, sure, he got nanoed. He pressed the Q, he pressed to use the special move, and did the spin, did the Death Blossom. There's a lot of damage fast, but if Fleta found even a slight window to get a duplicate on towards Prophet's Reaper, he would have survived. That could have been a different outcome. So you have Seoul Dynasty pushing towards the end of B, and then suddenly, you know, Fleta respawns, Lip gets a kill. This is the replay of the Bob on Bob action, by the way, and both Bobs will be played, but I mean, Bob from Fitz just has perfect shots to the Fleta, and as Lee Jae-gon goes for the res, Bob's just like, oh, this is another freebie.
Yeah, that was great. I always love when the two Bobs crash into each other like that. But yeah, Fitz is just a little bit better, but in the long term, it is Lip who actually comes out on top. I mean, the swap over to the Widowmaker from him, it's always risky to see. You know, rarely will players opt to go for that when, you know, the time is ticking down and looking to try to clutch out a victory. But he decides to do it. He goes for the Carpe play, as I like to call it, and he absolutely destroys with it. We'll be starting.
And he was harassed as well.
Initially.
Yeah. It's not even like he got instant value. Gesture was hard harassing him, and Lip had to get Gesture off his back, and as soon as that happened, that's when Lip really came on through. He's thinking about the Widow again. Obviously, he's going to use the Widow for the starting portion. He went towards Ashe, and his team's like, you know what? Stay on the Widow. You were doing good. Fitz is also playing it. Fitz has got the kill into Fleta, so now Lip needs the response.
You need to have somebody a little bit more reliable in that Widow duel. So I do opt in to go ahead and match him up. Kill on a Fleta, instantly res there by Lee Jae-gon. A little bit of choppiness, but we're okay. Back into it now as the cart currently just going to be resting in the underpass. Shanghai Dragons just going to be poking out, looking, trying to find any kind of picks. They have to play safe though, as Fitz does have the infra sight rolling for himself.
Izayaki's ult. It's coming up for me at the moment. Graham's really far away from Nano, so I'm not expecting that Seoul's going to find too much early start with. They're very far behind on ultimates. Prophet 74 as well, no early duplication. Izayaki been fast on his window so far, and that's how we're going to open up this account. As soon as he's got it, he needs to pop it straight away. That would be good.
Okay, Prophet. Waiting for his moment, now goes ahead, uses it, gets the duplicate onto Void, pressing for the Rockets. Getting quite a bit of ult charge built up here for him. That will be the sound barrier online. Let's see where he wants to use the self-destruct. Self-destruct is what I meant, not the sound barrier. Throws it out, doesn't manage to find any kills with it. Slip goes for a pop shot over the top, doesn't manage to line anything up. Fits in the meantime, headshot in onto Fleta. Gets that crucial elimination. Lip trying to play around the side, looking for those supports. Up through the interior, but they play away from it. What? Are you joking? Void,
I've never seen that.
Keep doing this.
Never seen that before.
Just to be damned, he kills 3. Replay right now, production. Get it done. I need to see this. My eyeballs need to absorb this information so I can possibly comprehend how the hell this happens.
He might do it again as well. He's nearly got another self-destruct. He just walks into 3 people. I have no idea. Drops him, crushes 3, and that's going to be the team fight win. That's all you need. Void has just done something absolutely insane at an Overwatch League level. Like, I don't care about people doing that in rank. I've not seen that in the league, and that's what we're talking about here. That's just going to give Shanghai so much room to work with.
A good luck in the karma race to see who can post that to Reddit the fastest. That is unheard of. That has to be the first time that has ever happened in a professional game. I mean, like, it just straight up is. It just straight up is. There's no way.
Yeah, and he's on 95 now. A lot of ultimates online for the rest of Dragons. I mean, I thought maybe Void was going to be a difference maker because you got 2 main tanks on the Seoul Dynasty squad. It's Gesture and Marvel, right? But it's Void being that kind of MVP Roll-Star caliber flex tank that could be the difference maker. Flitter now going over towards the Hog, finds the hook, and that's brilliant.
Okay, there's the Nano in on the Gesture. Looking to take down Fleta, takes him to 12 HP. Leeching on eliminated. Void going to be DMAC. This is where he is the most dangerous. He's trying to pistol his way back up. As I said it jokingly. He still manages to kill off Marvel. The res has to be used to put the Sigma back into the fight. And for the moment, there will be a brief reprieve here for the Dynasty. Void is back in. Okay, thank you, observers, so much. They just
wow, that has enough range to get 3? I did not think Animo was going to be in range for that. Animo was far enough away, surely. He must have been just on, you know, the perfect distance. That would have been a max damage remake range, surely. You got to be pissed with the Animo there. That's like, doesn't feel fair.
That is what we call in the World of Warcraft community a chain cleave. The more people there are around, the deeper the cleave goes. That was absolutely nasty. Okay, Gesture's dead again at the hands of Void, this time not by a remix. Self-destruct is out, however. He finds Prophet as well as the bomb. Fit's now going to be eliminated. Bionate out onto both supports here on the side of the Dragons. Marvel does manage to roll through. Kills off Lee Jake on. And that will be Izayaki falling as well, but they cannot stay on the cart. All came down to that last second swap there onto the Diva, but they just cannot make it in time. Shanghai Dragons utterly dominant here on the side of Dorado. I mean, still close. You know, I say utterly dominant, but this was still a bit back and forth. This was not a complete and utter sweep at the hands of the Dragons.
No.
But, I mean, this is just the Void show right now. Unreal plays from this man.
Yeah, I can't believe what I saw. You know, that's a dominant display. Comes back, self-destruct for 2 kills as well. That, you know, the pistol kill that he got, he was about to then get a Dreammate kill maybe onto Animo, who was, you know, had his own Glock there to finish Void's rampage. If it wasn't for that, I think Void was definitely looking to crush another player on the side of Seoul Dynasty and continue that. But Shanghai happy with that, 2-0 now. Void, all smiles that we saw towards the end. And Shanghai got to feel good about it because as close as that was, we never got towards C. It was a completed hold on towards B and then a cap over in a reasonable amount of time. And Shanghai looking great in the series. Seoul, a bit of work to do behind the scenes before map 3 starts.
All right, well, they have a quick little break to try to get settled and get ready to go into that map 3 to try to tie it up and stop, you know, the Shanghai Dragons from being able to close this out. We'll see if they're able to do so when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere, guys. The action continues in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to go into our third and potentially final map yet again here in this series. Temple of Anubis is coming up next in the Seoul Dynasty. They need to fight back. They need to get a win here if they want to extend this set. Otherwise, Shanghai Dragons going to be looking for a 3-0 win. Despite the scoreline, this has been close. But, man, that last map in particular, Avril, I don't know, we went through a wormhole into a very strange dimension.
We went into a pause and came out the other side with just some shenanigans. I gotta say that. For anyone curious about it, Void got 10 final blows on that map, 5 of which were remixed. So, I mean, half his total final blows came from just crushing other players on the remix. So, apparently, D.Va's got 2 lives and 2 ultimates. That's what we're talking about today. As, 2-0 up in the series. I feel like Shanghai were going to be a strong team. It's Shanghai. Obviously, they're going to be great, but I don't know, man. 3-0 feels so weird in this kind of series where Seoul had put up a good performance. Like you said, it has kind of felt close in some ways, especially when you go back to the fact that Control Center was won by the Seoul Dynasty. Bit of a weird sort of compositional and role allocation there for Shanghai, though. So maybe that was part of that loss. As we move towards Dorado, it's just going to be where Seoul are going to think hard about what are they going to put their players on? Because Prophet's been trading time between Echo and Reaper. Now, I'm starting to see where the Reaper is finding value, because what's happening is Nano gets put onto Prophet. He literally TPs into the team and just starts firing, all guns blazing. He then gets the bubbles as well. So this is now a sort of composition and a playstyle for Seoul where they're putting maximum resource into the Prophet Reaper to try and get results, and it's no longer the type of team that is more spreading out the resources. We're seeing Fitz play more and more Widowmaker. That might have just been in response to Lip, so I'm not too sure if that's going to remain, and Prophet's shying away a little bit from the Echo instead of staying on the Echo.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a major tonal shift, especially compared to what we just saw from them yesterday. So big changes, and I agree. I think it is mostly in response to what we're seeing from the side of Shanghai. They're trying to play around that, but it just hasn't quite found that success yet. I mean, Prophet, it's either super impactful with the Reaper or it gets like literally nothing done. It feels like there's not really much of it in between where he's just like doing consistent damage. It's either the all-in TP play and it either works or doesn't.
I think you should describe Reaper's entire play kit. That's just Reaper in a nutshell, I think.
That's true. That's more so just Reaper, I suppose. But yeah, it's just they're not finding much consistency with it, I guess, is the biggest takeaway right now. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be much of the same as we get ready to go into Temple of Anubis. Point B especially, in the past has been a big point for Reapers historically, but there's also a lot to pile it around with the Echo. So,
I think the Anubis is a big Echo map for multiple reasons. But the fact that, B especially, duplicates can really extend fights. Echo, I think, is very important on the defense, so depending on which side Seoul start on, Seoul might Reaper to start on the attack, and then go Echo for the entire defense, because stalling out points on, especially duplicating onto Winston's massive, getting that second Primal Rage, and that then extends to my second point here, is Gesture going to play the Winston? Because the number one main tank that we see, especially on the offense, is definitely the Winston. Now, on the defense, could you play double shield? Absolutely. You're going to put Gesture on the Orisa, Marvel on the Sigma. You're good to go. But the fact that Marvel's playing Sid 2U today means that if Seoul want to play a dive at all, is Marvel going to play is he going to play D.Va today? Because that would be weird. Because then you probably do want 2U to be playing instead. So that kind of dichotomy for Seoul is going to be strange. It's going to be wild to see what Seoul is going to do on this particular map.
Yeah, it feels like you'd almost have to, if anything, go for just the double bubble with the Zarya alongside the Winston.
Yeah, he'll probably play Zarya then.
Because it's
sure.
Yeah, just because it's so far out of Marvel's wheelhouse to be, going to the D.Va. But who knows? We'll have to just wait and see as we do get loaded up and ready. We'll be again first on the defense for Shanghai.
So the fact that now this does make sense. I did say Prophet might consider the Reaper on the attack, and you are going to double down on that point a little bit more. The reason why that's going to be even better now is because Marvel isn't going to play the D.Va. He's going to play the Zarya. and the Zarya pairs better with Prophet on the Reaper here than I guess Diva would. So you're going to have a bubble being pretty much given only to Prophet. It's not even going to be really double bubble. I don't think that just going to start on Ball. It's probably more likely he starts on Winston. You've got Creative and the Ana here, so you want to have good nano targets. But then if we move further beyond, I keep going back to the point of Prophet getting all resources. So maybe Gesture being on the Ball is better in that case because he doesn't need as much resources on a Ball. Just give everything to Prophet and hope the TP into victory, into the spin to win is enough.
Well, Fitz, he's not even going to be going for the pop shot here. Swaps straight over onto the Ashe. Gets a couple hits in onto Void, but have to wait until they approach. Just are going to be rolling back over into the spawn room, and it seems like, you know, you thought maybe it was going to be the Winston, but no, it's going to be it's going to just be more of this Roadhog.
Well, it's going to be tough for them to find engagements now because, I mean, yeah, Prophet goes in, but who else goes in? You have no diving tanks, no, you know, other pressure to help take it off of Prophet. You need to see a lot of rotations here. Seoul Dynasty must, in this type of composition, rotate close to high ground, rotate close to the point, and engage from there. Because otherwise, you're hoping just to find something on the hook, and that's already a TP and a bubble gone.
Yep. I mean, just much of the same. Pushing forward, TP's up onto the high ground, has to drop out, uses the Wraith Walk, and then we rinse and repeat. There's the bubble, there's the TP. Prophet is dead. So it's a really rough start trying to get this. You know, I feel like they're just trying to shoehorn this composition. You know,
the Nano
the
Gesture
point right now. Yeah, the new Nano Gesture is going to be pushing forward the whole hog, 20% away at the moment. Hook not quite going to connect and has to play back out of respect for this Amp Matrix. Will be expiring right now. More sticky bombs in on the Gesture. He's going to take a breather. That's going to get him much closer now to having that whole hog available. But at the moment, he's starting to get farmed. Taking lower and lower. The beam would finish him up, but they don't even need it. Void will find the kill. Bob now going to be thrown out. Fitz using it. Splutta takes a little bit of a nap, but when he wakes up, he does have that duplicate available, so he can get himself out of a sticky situation and also just go, you know, potentially copy the Roadhog himself and then try to break Gesture down with that extra added burst damage. See what happens. Maybe Marvel would end up being a slightly better target for him. That being said, he's going to go for the duplicate onto Creative. Instantly gets knocked out of that one by this 100 energy Zarya. Marvel doing some serious work as far as the damage is concerned, but
it'll be a reset.
Spletta, they're going to trade back against each other. The res is there, and the Dynasty are just going to be held at the choke again.
Dynasty are not going to cap this the way they're currently playing right now. It would require Shanghai to make big mistakes here or Gesture to get a guard hook, because right now, how are you supposed to break this bunker when you are struggling to rotate? A grab is going to be really great, but you have to dodge Void on that one. Void could eat that one away. You have Xiaki playing Superfire away on the Immortality field. You're not going to grab Flater unless he makes a mistake. So I don't know if you can really rely on this. With Fitz down, can you res this? Yeah, you are. Okay, great. 6 players, how do you rotate? That's still my biggest question, and now the time is going to be really running out.
Prophet again just has to Wraith Walk out of there. Marvel is dead, so any energy gain now lost. Gesture beamed down, and you know, I know that it's not the actual definition of insanity. It's always often a misquote, but I'll just bring it up anyway. Doing the same thing over and over again and anticipating different results. Prophet now going to be nanoed up, goes into the Death Blossom, does manage to find Lit, but they need so much more than that.
What?
That's good. Okay, a good little pop up there is Lee Jae gone. I'm not sure they dive back in, try to get the res, thinking that the Death Blossom was going to end. Hard to say. Either way, Prophet into the back. He does have that Wraith Walk available. They're trying to pocket him back up, and they will be able to do so successfully. And now it's going to be the Shanghai Dragons in on the back foot. Void goes in for the remech. Fleta going to be knocked out of the duplicate, taken down by Prophet. So suddenly it seems like, yeah, maybe Lee Jae did just straight up and throw the point. That's going to be one tick getting snatched up now. Grab still available, whole hog still available, and this is really bad for the Shanghai Dragons if they can't contest this, because there's a good amount of snowball potential available. That being said, Void managed to find Marvel. The Immortality Field is going to be taken down, but the Amp Matrix is still going to be there for the side of the Dragons as Quetta tries to rejoin with the Soldier 76.
No grab, though.
Bob out from Fitz does manage to find Void. Lee Jae eliminated. Now Izayaki dead as well, and that will be the cap, so they will not get full health here. Gesture did have to use the whole hog, but they still do have this Graviton Surge available with the Death Blossom from Prophet to try to snowball this.
Lee Jae-gon dying there absolutely completely ruined that defense. I mean, there's no reason for him to die to Death Blossom. You have to be out of range. Flitter flies up. All Lee Jae-gon's got to do is fly up with Flitter, go away from the Death Blossom. You lose Lip, that's fine. You can raise him at a later time or just wait for him to come back. It's still a 1-for-1 trade because I think Fitz or Gesture, somebody died on the side of Seoul Dynasty, so it's still a 5v5. As long as you don't allow Seoul to rotate into you or rotate on the point, that's a full hold. So they kind of give that one up, and now the capability of a double cap to come on through, the grab is still available. And with 2 kills in, the grab's going to put a finish one already.
Okay, that's huge. Into the back with the nano boost. Death Blossom going to be used. Void getting chunked out of the mech. Lee Jae-gon trying to escape, but will not be allowed to do so. Void now dead. That's going to be the effective team kill coming through. Fleta desperately trying to swap over onto the Mei, but likely just going to get pushed back away from the point. Grab comes out. Lip does manage to avoid that, but as he comes out of the Wraith Walk, the Bionade will finish him off. Fleta does get dropped. Supercharger finds no value, and the cap is going to be there, so the snowball still does manage to come through from Dynasty, and you really have to feel like this was a gifted cap for them as they finished with, I believe, 1 minute and 57 seconds. It seemed so, like it was going to be an assured full hold there from the Shanghai Dragons until Lee Jae-gon died to the Blossom.
Yeah, I can't understand that. I don't know. He cannot have gone to try and res Lip. Not while the Death Blossom is still running. And I said this at the start. There's no way Seoul are not going to cap this unless Shanghai make a huge mistake or Gesture finds a God hook. And he didn't get the hook. But Dragons absolutely made a huge mistake because losing your main support there, suddenly going down 2 members, including 1 DPS. And Dragons then have less capability to actually hold on towards chokes. And yeah, Prophet TPing in with a nano boost, that's the Hail Mary. That's really all Seoul Dynasty have. That's their one play. And I was looking at, like, if this one Death Blossom doesn't pay off, Seoul are done for because they can't rotate. They can't deal damage. Here's a fun fact for you. I think halfway through that first offense, like 2 minutes to 3 minutes in, Prophet was still under 1,000 damage done. He'd done nothing because Reaper does nothing in that situation. You have no range capability. You can't TP in because you can't just go into the other team. Your tanks can't follow you. You're playing Roadhog, you're playing Zarya. What tank follows up on your engagement? None of them. So Prophet's, he's in a rough spot. The fact that they got gifted Lee Jae-gon absolutely then allows them to have the momentum to double cap. Marvel saves the grab, and suddenly you have a time back to play with.
All right, well, on the attack now. Let's see if the Dragons can get done. Dynasty going for the Hog Sigma. Still do have that crucial shield. Oh, well, that's a very awakening here for Lip. Tries to jump up onto the high ground and instantly takes a boulder to the face. At least the shot's coming in, though. Hasn't managed to find any significant damage, any eliminations. Spits in the meantime. Knocks down Fate.
You notice one thing about Dragon's comp as well is this team also relies a lot on rotations. The fact that they lose Fate means main tank gone, they need Fate to come back in. They need to set up for high ground to have a sort of, I say defensible position, but they are on the attack, but you need to bunker down as you'd expect for a double shield composition. Lip now moving over towards the Reaper. I'm going to find a fast Ant Matrix. That could be the first ult of the game. You also Prophet looking towards a duplicate. But if Ixiaki finds this window really fast, that is going to be the window of opportunity for the Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah. Prophet just trying to chip out where he can. Nearly has his duplicate available. And I would assume that he maybe goes for Lee Jae-gon, maybe goes for even Void. We'll have to just kind of wait and see what he decides in the heat of the moment, I suppose. Has a good back angle. Yeah, and it will be Void at the end. The Accretion will find the kill. And the Flux now going to be online. Uses the grasp. Sees the soldier trying to escape. Says, hell no to Fleta. Drops him back down to the ground. In the meanwhile, off screen, 2 kills coming through as Anamo and Fitz both get eliminated. Just trying to go for a breather. Will get taken down. And it seems like Shanghai Dragons, despite the efforts there from Prophet, yeah, they might just be able to close this one out on the cap and have a very healthy time bank. Marvel pushing forward. Nano Boost going to be coming through onto him. Prophet finds one as Ixiaki gets dropped. Created out, however. The Nano Boost does get its value, and this Flux is ready to go, but Marvel needs to stay alive. He needs to not get stunned out of the air. Pocket healing coming in. Throws down the boulder, manages to clip Fleta. But Anamo now going to fall, and Marvel will get dropped before he can use the Flux. Cap comes through, and it's just shy of 5 minutes in the time bank for the Dragons to try to cap B.
I gotta say, that was a brilliant move from the Dragons. They knew they were losing ground because Prophet used a duplicate onto the Sigma, chasing the DPS away. But the rest of the Dragons start moving towards the point, and they're just hoping they get a tick. That's all they want, but then they start getting frags. Fate gets 2 kills here. That's insane. And then suddenly Marvel, he's caught in between a rock and a hard place. Like, do I use the ult? Do I save it? If he uses the ult and it doesn't win in the fight, then he probably should have just saved it for B. Would be a waste. So yeah, saved it for B. That means they give up A, but they're hoping for a solid defense here to bleed down this time, because as you said, the time bank is immense.
Yeah. See, team playing split right now. 3 in the back, 3 moving up through the catacombs around that left side. Sticky Bomb's not going to be finding too much. Marvel waiting. Flux comes through from Void first. Marvel narrowly avoids getting caught up into that one, but Gesture does not. Will fall down, and the res has already been used. Puts Profit back into the fight, but at this point, I think you'd rather have Profit than Gesture anyway. Seems to be getting just a little bit more done, especially with that duplicate now available for Profit. It's going to go ahead. Dupes him yet again. Gets Sunny and onto Lip. Shuts down that Death Blossom. Will get broken out of the duplicate. Looking for some added damage now. Looking for that pick. Moves over to the side. Does help Gesture take out Flutta. Point still nearly getting capped on this first tick. They're still trying to create enough space, but Fitz rejoins in with his signature Doom Fist. Gets the finish here onto Void. It's so very close yet so far. Shanghai Dragons now at 3.5 minutes will not be able to get that first tick, Avril.
No, they're not, and for Seoul Dynasty as well, the ability to hold on there. Gesture had survived for so long, like just an unbearably long time. That's the, I guess, the benefit of having the Roadhog available. Fits on the Doom Fits is obviously, I mean, that's going to be putting out some real damage. Marvel's Plugs collects a kill after, you know, initiating onto Fate and then using the Hyperspace to finish him up. So at the end of the day, not giving up a tick is massive for Seoul Dynasty, trying to hold on even further. 157, they're starting to look like a very good time back now, especially with Izayaki down. That looks like a reset. There's no way Shanghai go in with 5. So by the time Shanghai do go in here, Seth, they're not going to be able to match 157. I'm pretty confident now that Seoul Dynasty in the time bank is going to have more time to play with.
Yeah, it seems that way. And now, I mean, Profit just, you know, farming here on the back end. Fate unable to get out is just an ult battery for Profit. So he does have that next duplicate online. Really good Bionate from Creative to find Izayaki at the beginning of the fight. Also clipped onto 2 members. I think it was Fate and Lip, all getting caught out by that one. And I kind of have to question the Brigida at the moment here from Lee Jae-gon. Maybe you could give some insight onto why this is the pick, but I just feel like, you know, given Gesture on the Hog, cutting down that survivability with something like the Bionate might be immensely valuable. But
yeah, I think Lee Jae-gon doesn't play the Ana though. That's probably the bigger problem here, but let's see how he goes in this fight. Might get a rally.
Oh, well, there's Gesture. So, survivability be damned. The Flux does enough damage. Flutta goes in with the duplicate, does copy him. Now does have a whole hog available. Profit in the meantime goes for the Reaper, looking to break down the tank line. Sleep comes through. Accretion for good measure. Fletta going to be knocked out of the duplicate. Tries to pull back as he falls down to half HP. Gesture finds a hook, takes out Lee Jae-gon before he can get the rally online. And it seems like that should be enough to potentially cut short this attack. And yeah, with Void falling, no more barriers available here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons other than Fades. They will have to reset and go again. And this is now going to be down below a minute.
And I gotta say as well, I think the Mercy would be a better pick for Lee Jae-gon. Izayaki's starting to feel like the BAP isn't producing enough value anymore. Part of the reason why Seoul Dynasty can get more out of their Reaper versus what you're seeing out of Lip is because Seoul Dynasty can throw a lot of resource into Profit when he plays a Reaper. He's getting nanos, he's getting bubbles, he's being pocketed in other ways as well. You need Izayaki on something like the Ana to at least enable Lip here. If Lee Jae-gon isn't going to play the Mercy because he's got the rally, he can't swap. Fleta should swap off the Echo as he's done because he's not receiving the pocket anyway. So let's hope this composition can do something because it's no longer a conversation about whether Shanghai can get a decent time back. Can they cap it all here? We're under a minute and they haven't got a single tip and a tick, and this is going to be the final engagement. Izayaki will have the nano boost available. Probably is going to go into Lip.
Alright, TP coming out. Death Blossom nearly there. Now has it with just those first few shots. Marvel tries to go over the Flux, but is instantly shut down mid-air by Lip. Duplicate now coming through from Profit. Has to Wraith walk away, but Lip is going into pursuit. Aggression will connect onto him, but Marvel anteed out here on the point. Will get taken down. The Bomb tries to buy a little bit of extra time here from the side of Fitz. Profit barely tags in onto the point. The wall already burned. As soon as he comes out of this block, he is just going to go straight into the meat grinder. Flutta does manage to find the finish. A single tick now going to be picked up. It will be an OT finish, if at all, here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. It's already a good boon, a good sign for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. See what Fitz can get done. Is going to be slept, is going to be shut down after taking out Fletta. Needed to get so much more value with that Doom Fist. Res comes in from an Anmo, but it's on to Creative. It will not be long for this world here on the point. Bionate connects on to 3, but they need some damage to try to follow up. Gesture slept. But going in for the reload, pile driver not going to connect, but they're ticking up on the point and nobody can touch. And that will be the cap coming through, but it's with 0 time here to the 157 of the Seoul Dynasty.
Good plays by Shanghai to really put all their resources into Lip and say, you know what, this is going to be the Prophet Soul strategy. Iziaki go over towards Ana. Credit to Iziaki, by the way, who finds a very fast nano boost. Like, he swapped to the Ana, I think, 1 fight ago, and then about a fight and a half later, he has a nano boost available. If they don't have the nano, I don't think Lip goes off as hard as he does, and if he doesn't go off the hard like that, then you don't get those kills. So, massive to open things up via the nano on towards the Reaper, and then Shanghai Dragons from there can start snowballing. Prophet finds 0 value on the duplicate because he copies over towards the Reaper. He's thinking, this is my chance to play Reaper again. But he gets shut down big time, and Lip goes back to spawn, comes back home towards May, gets fragged, and the point's over from there. Fitz comes back in a doofus, gets nothing done, and Seoul Dynasty cannot hold on. But the 157 to 0 is what we've got to talk about here, and Achilles, you wanted to see the potential for a draw. Here it is. Here's your draw.
You know, I was a
sorry, you can't.
little bit
can you draw?
sarcastic.
You can.
Yeah.
You can draw here.
I was being a little bit sarcastic when I mentioned the draw, but I can definitely see it. I've got my telescope out. I'm staring at it right now. So yeah, I mean, they need to get this. I mean, no matter what, we're going to another map. So we've got that. So that's totally fine. It's just whether or not the Seoul Dynasty put a point on the board or not.
The problem is, Seoul, they're running the same comp again, it looks like. I mean, this time Fitz is, okay, he's on an Ashe, so maybe we'll find some headshots here or something like that. But this kind of Reaper, Hog, Zarya strat, like, again, they need to focus on rotating to even get these tanks into applicable range to do anything. And Prophet, he's going to have to back out, so this is just farming up energy charge for Marvel. It doesn't really achieve much else.
Yeah. Well, they almost get Fleta, but almost is not going to be good enough. Got Lee gone, trying to sprint his way to a nano boost. Just keeping pace at the moment there with Creative. Gun pushing Prophet back. Dynamite over the top. Okay. Ooh, barely makes it out of there, but yeah, Fleta does get picked off. Lee gone going for the res right now. Will manage to put him back into the fight, and then goes ahead, jets his way into the back. But while they go for that res, Void gets focus fire. They don't have that pocket healing. He does get taken down. Anti-Nate out on the fate for just a moment there. Prophet now going to exit with the Wraith Walk yet again. As Marvel, every time I look at this guy, his average energy is through the roof. So he's doing a really good job of farming.
Well, he's putting his bubble onto his Prophet every time.
Yeah, well, maybe that won't be good enough right now. He's going to be taking a nap. Seems like they're more than content to just leave him sleeping on the ground. Prophet does get picked back up and instantly gets on top of Lip, finding that kill. Gesture in the meantime does get traded out. Bongo going to be destroyed as Fitz throws in the bomb. They push it over to the side. Otherwise, the bomb not going to be finding too much value, but Fleta hounded down by Prophet, who continues to just sit in the back of the point. They're playing in onto this one right now. The support's going to be taken out. Fate now falling. It's all on Void. He just cannot stay alive. Moves up, gets the Mega Pack, but needs to play the point. They can't touch in. The Death Blossom in celebration comes out from Prophet. And Seoul Dynasty, they will not draw. They will win this map. They keep their hopes alive as they look to pull off a reverse sweep.
Yeah, brilliant in there as well. You have to really credit, I believe it was the Fitz. They got the opening frag on towards Fleta. The EJ got must res that. You don't want to be playing 5v6 while he goes for the res because if Void gets DMAC, it's essentially another 5v6. The only way Shanghai Dragons can really turn that one around, in my, one of the ways, is you're going to have Void get another remake and he's got to crush like 3 more players. So hilariously, that would have been great for the Shanghai Dragons, but they were down 1 member, and as soon as Fitz got that frag and then Void gets DMAC, you start seeing Seoul Dynasty walk forward. They're taking space, and that's when Shanghai Dragons are pulling backwards, so they're slowly getting it that way as well. So it's either going to be you get a hook, Fitz gets something there, or eventually, Prophet just generates so much energy for Marvel, just keeping in, get the bubble, Wraith form out, rinse and repeat. Marvel's on 100 charge, you suddenly into action.
Yeah, damn. Well, sorry, I was watching that replay, the play of the game. Lee Jae gone with a really nice whip shot, so I went, ooh. But yeah, the series does continue. Not going to be a 3 Overwatch match here. Let's see if it's just going to end at 4 or if we can make it to 5 as we get ready to go into our next map. We're going to go do a quick little break first, so don't go anywhere, guys. That map is coming up in just a bit.
Next time, I learn from the best. Performance.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to go into our fourth and potentially final map at the moment. Things remaining close between the Seoul Dynasty and the Shanghai Dragons Dynasty. Barely able to really get a victory there on Temple of Anubis. For the longest time, it was looking like that was potentially going to be a full hold for the Shanghai Dragons, but a crucial mistake from the side of Lee Jae-gon gives them an opening. They're able to snowball it, they get the cap, and they successfully win it in OT. Now we look forward to Eichenwald and see if Dragons can finally close this out, or if Shanghai can push us into that fifth and final.
Absolutely, and credit to Seoul as well. They had to go. They knew what they needed to do, which is go for picks. This is more relevant to, I guess, the time bank attack where Fitz found the shot on the Ash, and that's maybe something they really need to lean into for the opening A push as well, because otherwise it was looking pretty 3-0. I'm glad it's not a 3-0, at least for the entertainment value of going further in the series, going to more maps than just the three that we get to see. And now in Eichenwald, if Seoul can make a bit more of a comeback, could it be a possible reverse sweep, or does Shanghai Dragons shut the door down and drop a mech on all six?
I was about to say that was actually the first map that we've had on the series so far where Void didn't kill anybody with a mech, so the streak has been broken. Yeah.
That's the difference. That's why they didn't win. You got to kill. You got to get more demech kills, remake kills, and that's how you win the series.
Exactly. There's my play-by-play stat of the day, I guess. So I'm not gonna have 100% mech kills throughout this series, but we'll see what happens with Eichenwald, because you can anticipate that we're probably gonna be seeing that diva yet again from Void. Not gonna be seeing any adjustments to the lineups. We don't have any substitutions. So no Who Are You coming in. Fleta Lip still gonna be there. Prophet Fitz obviously still gonna be backed up. So and Marvel, still sticking through. So
well, Sigma.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what Dynasty is going to run again. Do they just keep trying to shoehorn this Roadhog through, or do they make an adjustment?
I can feel all the Seoul fans right now just like they're pressing their lips together and they're waiting for the moment. They're waiting for, if Seoul loses with this lineup, to be like, I knew it. It's Marvel's fault. He's bad. You shouldn't be playing Marvel. They're waiting for that moment. They're just like, they're holding out for it, especially if it was going to be a 3-0. Because there is just that kind of, small thing there because Diva's pretty good right now. You're seeing Void doing some good things on Diva. Diva is kind of like the flex tank in this current meta. Not always. I mean, double shields are things, so don't get me wrong. But Seoul Dynasty are leaning hard into that. They're leaning hard into double shield, into Marvel on the gesture. And if Marvel doesn't, gesture on the Hog and then Marvel on the Sigma. But if he's not playing Sigma, it's got to be pretty much the Zarya, right? So there it is.
All right. Well, here we go. On to Eichenwald to see who is going to be able to come out on top here and whether or not Shanghai just closed the series straight up. If not, we will have Oasis waiting for us as that final map of control. I believe we do have Shanghai first on the attack. Let's see what defensive setup we can have here. Right now, Gesture, okay. Showing us the Hog. I thought that this was going to be, the double shield go for the Orisa, but seems like Gesture
it's not really a Hog map.
Yeah,
he'll make it one. Gesture's saying, I'll make any map of Hog map. You watch.
You could maybe justify it on the bridge, because at least you could hook people off the bridge. But even then, here's how
you justify it. You ask Gesture, why are you playing Hog? He's saying, I'm good Hog. That'll be the answer. So that's how you justify it.
I mean, as the words came out of my mouth, I'm like, well, no, actually, you would just play Orisa and then just halt people off the bridge. So that doesn't even make any sense, because then you can get more than one at a time. This is just Gesture just feeling it, I guess, even though it hasn't really translated into the play fully.
He's going to do what he wants. Seoul have the game plan. You want to open up a Hog meta, Gesture's going to go for it. Put the hook, line, and sinker out. Gesture's going to bite down really hard. Here we go. Shanghai onto McCree and Reaper. Fade on the Orisa, rotating to the small room. Now, just waiting for a heal up before they move out again.
Yeah, scary moment there for Lip, but does manage to stay alive, gets topped up, and now they continue on their push, and Gesture is the first one to die. I don't know. I don't know how many times.
Oh my God.
Before we see some kind of adjustment. Now he's going to be swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball to come back in. Prophet is dead. He's going to be res back into the fight, but now Anamo is going to be eliminated. The point is already capped, and now Gesture on the Wrecking Ball is going to find no value. He's got to run back into the castle to swap again, and the Shanghai Dragons just have all of the time in the world.
I don't think it finds...
Yep, there it is.
Okay, he does swap. I was going to say he maybe doesn't need a swap. I can see the ball doing some stuff, but yeah, he swapped over now. It is going to be the Gesture Hog. They're going to continue this. Momentum being found by the Shanghai Dragons. Nano boost is there as well. Not really ultimates to speak of. Marvel has a flux, but he's got to get it in time to use it, because the payload is the focus right now. I do expect the Nano to go on Flitter, though, so let's see what Flitter does with that.
I'm experiencing physical pain over this stubbornness right now.
Right.
It is hurting me. Gesture, you better pop off harder than you have in this whole series, because you had like the one.
I think he was crushed by Mech again.
He had the moment on Dorado. That's a good hook. They don't find the kill. Fled is still alive, but Provident in the meantime does manage to find Fate. Flux comes through. They drop Void down to the ground here on the ramparts, and they will get the kill onto the Baby Diva. So at least for now, they can get them off the cart and they can find a nice little reprieve.
I gotta say, Prophet killing Void's Baby Diva in quick succession is very important, because he doesn't want to get destroyed by the remake again. Well, it fits on the 2K here. It does reset the Shanghai Dragons. Take a look at the payload distance. Is it going to be good enough? I just need to see it physically for like half a second. I do believe it's around the corner. Yeah, it's not quite at the bridge, though. You do want it to get towards the bridge. This means that Dragons, I don't know if they want to rotate just yet or focus back on the payload. With this type of composition, Fate, especially on the Orisa, retaking is always going to be somewhat difficult, especially now that Hog is being played by Gesture on the point itself. He's looking for hooks.
Yeah, Fleta. Figure out where exactly he wants to approach from. Moving up onto the high ground, looking for creative, I believe. Bob is keeping Shanghai zoned inside the castle at the moment, away from the cart. Rally now going to be rolling. Here's a TP. Fleta goes out with the Death Blossom, looking for the kill. Void in the meantime off screen will find Gesture. Prophet gone, creative gone, Marvel eliminated, and it is just a very nicely done fight off the, to the back of a Rally and a Death Blossom that actually didn't find that much value. The rest of the kills were pretty much just neutral.
I mean, yeah, it was just a 1-for-1 trade there. I say a 1-for-1 trade, but Void gets a remake anyway, so even that one hook kill that Gesture got onto Void's mech doesn't really count for much. And now the retake into full effect. It's Gesture on the Orisa for the double shield, but double shield retakes are not great. Marvel's already in trouble, and the Nano's not there to save him. Didn't use it.
Yeah. Get the pop. Valkyrie out from Manamo. Rez does come through. Deadeye rolling from Lip. Holding this one long. It would seem it does end up getting Marvel in the end. There's the cap now on to B. 4 minutes and 23 seconds as the castle doors do get broken down. And this is just a steamroll at the moment.
Yep. And they use both support ultimates, so now, I mean, I did say, like, where was a Nano, but you wanted to use the Nano early to get Marvel over, and then maybe find a Flux, not kind of afterwards. You have to res him first, and you've already lost all priority on the payload itself. Swapping over now is Prophet over towards the Echo. This now Flux is still going to be very important for the C defense, but with 4 minutes remaining, Shanghai have a lot to work with to actually get this cap over. They just have to wait for some more ultimates, maybe a couple of neutral kills, and then they should be on their way. They definitely have to get past the Flux, though. That's important.
Oh, Void. Bionade comes through, that added burst healing, doing wonders. He does manage to stay in the mech. It seemed like he was almost for certain going to be able to lose that, and that would have given the Seoul Dynasty a good amount of wiggle room to stave off this attack. I mean, they need to buy 3.5 minutes if they want to stop this from rolling in.
Fleta needs Death Blossom as well.
Value
going to get a
sticky bombs.
Nano Death Blossom
Here's the
without
push.
it.
Anti on the Gesture. Immortality Field does come through. Fitz manages to find Izayaki, but not before the Nano Boost does get used on a Fleta. He TP's up top. The Death Blossom is available. He's getting in on top of Manamo. Now going to be eliminated. That is going to be the team kill. The cart can just go ahead and glide through. Gesture swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball, but can he touch in time? Shield bash. They boop away. The pile driver does come down, but he doesn't have the adaptive shield anymore. He will fall, and creative doesn't last very long. One after the other, they will string in onto the cart to try to buy some time. Immortality Field going to be finished off. Marvel knocked out. The Deadeye rolling. Takes out the Baby Diva. Flashbang for Flashbang. We'll never know who wins out on that duel exactly, as there were some third parties involved. But the cart at the end makes it all the way to point C here on Eichenwald. 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining.
I'm seeing a little bit more frustration in the face of Seoul Dynasty as well, and I can feel that. I can see that because that defense was a whole lot of nothing. There was one good fight there for Seoul where Fitz got a 2K on the Ash, including a dynamite hit. Aside from that, I mean, Shanghai, cool, reset, come back in, work the payload. Half of Seoul Dynasty are already kind of on the low ground. They're not even really playing the high ground on B. And then you look over towards the C fight, and all it takes is, Fleta gets nanoed. This is actually pretty decent. Walks through, And then I believe he'll TP over, find both supports, and then just ultimate on top of them. He's looking at this like it's completely free. There's no tanks. In fact, it was the last 2 kills anyway, so finish it off in style. All 6 down.
Real estate.
And a pretty simple attack after Shanghai get their ultimates. And the only reason Shanghai didn't snowball C is because they had to get past the Flux and they needed some ultimates because they had nothing to work with. And once they had Rally, Nano into Death Blossom, all of that, it's more than good enough. And pretty simple stuff. 246 is good.
Yeah, very respectable. I mean, even just sometimes with these hybrid maps, escort maps, just getting the card all the way to the end is in and of itself enough to win you the map. And in this case for the Dragons, it would be the series. Gesture again is looking to show us the Hog with Marvel backing them with the Zarya. Almost swapping over to the side. Wall set up for Fitz to be able to sit boosted for a moment, but doesn't spot anything, so we'll just be swapping. A nice little creative play there, but doesn't net them anything. But something to keep in mind.
I gotta bring up, despite Seoul looking kind of poor here, Fitz is still putting up numbers. He's on 7k damage, which is about 3 to 4k ahead of every other DPS. All the other DPS are sitting between 4 and 5k, including Flitter, Lip, and Prophet. So Fitz is still trying to hard carry this one as much as possible on the Ashe. Now on the McCree, he gets drilled down. Uh-oh.
They just get absolutely annihilated right there. I mean, look how far forward now all of the Dragons are playing. They get the surround here onto Gesture. There's the ante. They get the kill. Fleta will be traded out. Lee Gon, you would expect you can just go ahead and pop that res back in real quick. I can hear it happening, and there you go. Namo trying to kite back. They'll be able to stay alive, it seems. And I mean, breaking through these defenses, like it really will come down to one pick.
Actually, that's not bad. That's a great kill.
That's a huge one now, but they need to get going. Hulk comes through. They're looking for Fitz. He's got to roll out of there. Almost gets taken out. 9 HP remaining from him as Izayaki looked for that tag. Nano Boost now is going to be available. End of the hammer, just trying to break down the Orisa barrier. Supercharger's rolling in Marvel, pushing up. I guess he right-clicked into the barrier, and Fleta. Oh my god, he just rips apart 3. That is a team kill in the back of that pick on Lee Jae-gon. That was the go moment here for Dynasty, and it just completely falls flat.
And when you know killing Lee Jae-gon is not even good enough anymore, this is a huge problem for Seoul Dynasty. The more I look at this composition, the more I think Seoul have not got a good read on this meta. This Hog Zarya pickup, it's like they're cosplaying 2020 playoffs again. Like, yeah, we beat Shanghai last year with this. Why not just do it again? Prophet getting nanoed in, but he doesn't have the Death Blossom. Needs to get a couple of frags here to make it work.
I mean, the D-Matrix is there. They protect Fate. He gets top back up. Firing on the 2 doesn't lead to any kills. Lee Jae-gon and Lip both going to be staying safe. Fleta now. Death Blossom is available. Has the Nano Boost rolling, and here he comes. Both supports going to fall. Marvel trades it back, but it doesn't really matter. The res is available, I believe, from Lee Jae-gon, unless he burned the CD. Had to exit away from Marvel, showing respect. As you know, again, Marvel constantly high energy. Gesture almost dead, and the Dynamite will
late
finish
kill
him.
as well. It's a late kill that's going to cost more time. I mean, it's 140 now. This is going to be an important fight. You don't have the Death Blossom or the Nano, but if Marvel can get any sort of energy in there, it's good. I don't think Marvel actually died at the last fight, so having preserved some energy is very important. That's something to work with. Yeah, you can see that he's got some energy. So a grab into a whole hog is a way they can win this, but I mean, I'm expecting Izayaki to do something crazy here to respond.
We'll see. Void is looking to start things off. The Hulk comes through the self-destruct, not able to find anything in Gesture. He finally gets that hook combo. Takes out Fleta. Big opening for them as Void is boosted up. Oh man, the Bionade keeps him alive. They don't lose the mech. And Marvel, he was extending to try to get that kill, and that cost him his life. Now Gesture is gone, and the Dynasty are just staring down the barrel of a full hold on Eichenwald to end the series.
Yeah, I mean, this is the full hold that I thought was going to happen on Nubis, by the way, because we're seeing a similar composition. At least it's more justified here, because you get to play low ground the whole time, but you still just can't brawl. It's hard to rotate, you take a lot of damage. The best thing that has happened for Shanghai here is the fact that Flitter's also playing the Reaper, because his Reaper, playing in this trope with his level of support in the backline and having all these shields and defense matrix to play through, it's just letting Flitter do monstrous things. Nano coming on through, Prophet looking for ultimate.
Look at the death ball right here. Prophet, he does have the ultimate available. He's trying to push in onto Fate, but the Nano Boost is just keeping this Orisa alive. The Coach Gun pushing him back, so can't find any kind of opening to go in with that Death Blossom, and will just get picked off. It's 12 seconds remaining. They cannot afford to lose anybody else. Res now going to be coming through the grab, going to be used. Dynamite to try to zone them back. Bob's
There's no one there to take advantage of the grab.
Somebody has to touch. Gesture is alive. He's on the wrecking ball, but needs to make his way over to the point, and I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. He cannot. The Seoul Dynasty, they played this defense absolutely perfectly. Killing Lee Jae-gon is not enough. He, like, if you kill Lee Jae-gon, the fight isn't over. Lee Jae-gon has to kill himself in order for you to win the fight, as we saw in Temple of Anubis. If he doesn't take his fate into his own hands, then you have no chance. Shanghai Dragons, they close this out 3-1.
100%. And I look at the situation before anyone says, like, oh, what's the difference between this and what happened on Anubis between Lee Jae-gon? Here, Shanghai Dragons still have full choke control. Lee Jae-gon dies, but the other 5 Dragons, they walk up, they still have heavy fragging power. Flitter on the Reaper, I think, was a great adaptation from Shanghai into this composition, because Reaper is just doing monstrous damage versus all of Seoul's comp, and there's very little mitigation. Look at the tank line here. You want to play Hog Zarya, you have 2 bubbles, 1 for a teammate, 1 for yourself. That's it. We're not playing Overwatch 2 Zarya that can just double bubble teammates. No, you put 1 bubble onto Gesture or Prophet, and that's all of your team's damage mitigation. That's it. That's done. You have Gesture's self-healing. Beyond that, nothing else to talk about. Shanghai just has Flitter and Lip constantly drilling down the tanks. Everybody, Fitz is trying so hard. Fitz, I think, did more damage than all the DPSs, but Fitz can only carry so much. The team can't even rotate. Seoul can't even get towards the point. They didn't even touch the point, I don't think. So a rough finish for Seoul, despite winning a map, despite making a bit of a decent comeback and having the early control center win on Lijiang Tower. But Eichenwalde was all Dragons, and Seoul completely collapsed on this final map.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that picks are not good enough. You know, getting that one person out of a fight is just not big enough to make it happen. So the Roadhog, while, you can get that pick off onto Fleta, you have to stop Lee Jae-gon from getting the res, and then you have to try to make the push, but they need so much more than that. They need consistency in these fights, in these skirmishes, and that just doesn't really happen there. With this Roadhog, it's much more bursty. So they end up losing out on it, and I'm curious to see what adjustments we're going to be seeing from the Seoul Dynasty moving forward, because I think this experiment here clearly did not work out. They won yesterday using a bit of the Roadhog, but it wasn't super impactful there either. I get that this is, familiar for Jester. I know that he is very comfortable playing the Roadhog, but it's not really translating onto the stage at the moment. So we'll have to see what they do in the future. In the meantime, though, staying with the present, let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match, and how could it be anybody else, Avril? It has to be Void. This guy just was destroying this entire time.
If nothing else, I mean, you just have the fact that he got multiple remake kills in there, which is hilarious in and of itself. But Void in this kind of matchup, even if you look at Eichenwalde, has so much good pressure versus the entire tank line of what Seoul are doing, because you have massive pressure versus the Graviton Surge, which is one of the only real win conditions coming through from that tank line of Seoul Dynasty. Gesture wants to play Hog. I think Diva's a great counter to Hog, because anybody that gets hooked in, you just defense matrix that player, and they're not going to die. So you can save anybody doing that. And if that wasn't enough, then you saw some good consistency out of the self-destruct kills, especially on Dorado. This was a good one. And then obviously the remake kills were brilliant as well on top of that.
Yeah, just so well played. I mean, consistently offering up peel, just swaps over effortlessly here to the Sigma. Just, farms Gesture with those ults, just constantly shutting him down. But just great peel, great self-destructs throughout. And man, as soon as we're off the broadcast, I'm just going to go back and rewatch that remake clip again and again and again. It says 2 ultimate kills. That is a lie. The remake should absolutely count.
We forgot about the Diva's other ultimate. Diva's got 2 ultimates. So
yeah,
you got to include them
both.
both.
Now. Yeah, it didn't have to negate anything. There wasn't really that much that, any projectile ultimates really to take away, other than when
Marvel
Prophet was playing the Blizzard
for like
at the beginning.
half the game, so you can't eat something that never gets used. I'm going to tell you that.
Well, Void just continuing to put up numbers, looking like one of the best flex tanks, or off tanks that we do have, in the league. So just doesn't matter. APAC, NA, this guy is always going to be on top. Continues to be very consistent. But it's time now for our game break. We can decompress a little bit here, Avril. Maybe vent a little bit as well, as we will be jumping into our crunch time instead of I Cheese It group. So go ahead and kick this off.
I've done plenty of venting. I don't know. So I think the series was pretty even in the first couple of maps here. The flitted lip dichotomy on Lijiang was really interesting to me, because you have this kind of double hit scan set up. I didn't expect Straight away on Control Center, Flitter on McCree, I knew was going to be a bit weird because he's never been known for McCree. Lip coming out of Doomfist is a bit more expected on Control Center. You know, if you're expecting the other team to go double shield, which if Marvel's into play, I think that's a fair expectation. I think every time you see Marvel, probably it's going to be Sigma. If not, it's going to be the Zarya. So the fact that the Sigma is going to be there, playing a Reaper Doom makes sense, but there was no Reaper there. Flitter's on McCree, which is a bit weird. Then you go over to Soldier McCree, double hit scan, maybe Flitter along with a lot of other players. By the way, last time we saw Dragons, Lip played a lot of Soldier, so it just seems to me that Shanghai want to get the Soldier going, especially for control. Finds decent value because you have Prophet and Fit starting on, what was it, Farah and Echo, and eventually Fit's and Prophet will change over. By that time, you're starting to now move into the territory of Shanghai being in the lead, and I think Shanghai did a great job of not losing that lead in the series overall until we got to Temple of Anubis when things got a little bit weird. Dorado was, you know, a really good map as well for Void and the rest of the team. Obviously, you look at that, multi-frags from Void and great things being done. And another, you know, kind of weird one for Seoul, because I'm pretty sure Seoul were playing Zarya on Dorado as well, and Zarya to me just struggles a lot on B. Like, there's no high ground presence at all. You just can't do much. And Void playing D.Va has so much more utility.
Yeah, I mean, and he just utilizes it to a T. You know, this guy, he just plays every single tank that he picks up, the ins and outs of it, he's got them nailed. So just another star-studded performance from him, helping get them across the line. So, I mean, Seoul Dynasty, there's clearly some stuff that needs to be worked out here to get ready to move forward. You know, 1-1 right now here in the June Joust, getting that win yesterday, but clearly going to need to put in some extra work if they want to contest with, you know, the top teams here, with Shanghai, potentially with Fusion if they're able to bounce back, you know, after their loss. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the continued development of them. It seems like the Seoul Dynasty regular season roller coaster is very much still a relevant topic.
Yeah, it's going to be required to be a big turnaround now. Chengdu's coming up next for Seoul Dynasty as well. There's 2 more games there. For Shanghai Dragons, though, 3-1 is a good end to their June Joust qualifiers, which means I think they should be in the money for a top 4 finish here. 3-1 is usually the expected result to get you into the top 4, so no surprise that Shanghai once again found themselves into that top 4. Who joins them, though, is going to be the biggest question, because Hangzhou still have 2 more games to go, and they're already sitting at a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Hangzhou look phenomenal. You know, Guangzhou Charge, they were able to come up with their upset victory as well, so maybe they're going to be able to make a little bit of a run here. So it's very much up in the air. Fusion's going to be vying for a spot as well, but after their loss to the Charge, you know, things are very wild over here in the APAC region right now. Yeah, much less straightforward. So the continued development of this region is going to be exciting to see, you know, and who is going to be able to make it into the June Joust tournament properly. So we'll just have to keep our eyes trained on that. But guys, that does it for today. We just had those 2 matches, so that finishes off the weekend for us. Avril and I will be back next weekend, however, for some more APAC action. In the meantime, there is going to be more NA matches coming up later on in like 7 or 9 hours. I don't even know. We finished pretty quickly here. It's only 8:30. So that's going to be happening in not too long. So make sure you guys tune into the NA matches. But from myself, from Avril, from all of the APAC production team, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next weekend.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.